The Marlins and Indians have alternated victories in a World Series played under contrasting circumstances. The venues themselves, Florida basking in 70-degree weather, while Cleveland hosts the coldest game in World Series history. Then there are the third basemen. Florida's Bobby Bonilla's injured hamstring has made even routine plays an adventure. Yet he was able to push his battered body to score the go-ahead run in Game 3. Cleveland's Gold Glover Matt Williams had a tough time at the plate in Game 1. But he flexed his muscles when the Tribe needed it most as they evened the series last night. The Marlins' Gary Sheffield made the defensive play of the series in Game 3. But last night, he was reduced to a spectator as the Marlins lost the momentum they had gained on Tuesday. This series, strange and atypical as it has been, still has its own twists and turns, its own range of emotions. It resumes tonight with a pitching rematch of youth versus experience. Game 5 is next.
NBC Sports presents the 1997 World Series. Tonight, it's Game 5. The Florida Marlins versus the Cleveland Indians.
First item of business, it is not nearly as cold here tonight as it was for Games 3 and 4. Temperatures in the 40s, but as you see the flag hanging limply, there's almost no wind, and therefore it's much more comfortable here than it was for Games 3 and 4. Tonight, Game 5 between the Indians and the Marlins, often referred to as the pivotal Game 5, and here's why. When the series has been tied at 2, whichever team wins the 5th game has gone on to win the whole thing, more than 2 out of every 3 times. The temperature is in low 40s, as we said. We'll call it 43 degrees. There's been no precipitation all day in the Cleveland area. The forecast calls for a very slight chance of rain sometime during the hours in which the game will be played. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Game 5. I'm Bob Costas. The pitching pairing, a rematch of Game 1. The rookie out of Cuba, Livan Hernandez, against 39-year-old Orel Hershiser. The numbers you see here for Hershiser represent the worst postseason outing of his brilliant career. Only his second postseason defeat against 8 victories. Hernandez has been better in the playoffs, but it was a good enough performance to get him his 3rd victory against no defeats in this postseason. If you worry about the cold with him, and Jim Leyland does to some extent, Hernandez points out that he pitched in Double-A at Portland, Maine, and so he's used to it to some extent. You may also be wondering about his family circumstances. His mother, Miriam Carreras, back home in Cuba, very much wants to see him pitch in person. The United States has granted her a visa, but that does her no good unless Cuba issues an exit visa, and so far as we know, they have not done that, and they are not expected to. Bob Uecker and Joe Morgan will be here shortly, but for now, we turn it over to Keith Olbermann and Hannah Storm for the pregame show.
Bob, apropos of your remark yesterday about baseball weather perfect for a penguin, we've decided to go right to the source here. This penguin, by the way, is also named Bob, which is an extraordinary coincidence. And he says it's too warm out here. He also adds that he used to work with Jim Leyland in Pittsburgh. He's a big Marlins fan. Think about it.
I would just like to point out that my idea of a penguin is Burgess Meredith.
Well, from the Penguin to the Batman, if you will.
Okay.
On that note, and Mr. Penguin, our friend, will not be in the lineup tonight, but the man they call Mr. Marlin will. A lineup change for Jim Leyland's team as Jeff Conine, one of the original Marlins, will be in at first base. Couple of reasons for that, as you see, is a .462 lifetime hitter against tonight's Indian starter Orel Hershiser. Also, Leyland has been unhappy with the defense, his team piling up 5 errors in the last 2 games. So Darren Daulton, who was playing at first, he's going to be the DH tonight. The guy who was the designated hitter, Jim Eisenreich, provides Leyland another lefty option off of the bench. Keith?
Last night, the Indians scored 10 runs. Third baseman Matt Williams put the game on ice with his long 8th-inning home run, freezing out any Marlins comeback hopes. The polar opposite was Florida's chilled leadoff man Devon White, who went down swinging 4 times. Burr.
And strikes out against him, too.
I've had bad games like that before, and, you know, it's going to happen again. But, you know, it's going to be highlighted, you know, because it's the World Series. But, you know, you got to put it behind you and just go on.
As much as White struggled last night, Williams flourished both in the field and at the plate.
But this is a long drive to left, and it is gone. Matt Williams putting the finishing touches on a perfect night.
You run all those sprints in spring training and take those ground balls and hit till your hands bleed and things like that. And it's all for this. And when you get here, it's time to have fun. You know, it's national TV and it's spotlight, microscope, whatever you want to call it. But it's time to relax and to enjoy yourself, because, like you say, there's guys that play their whole careers and never get a chance to do this. So you might as well have fun doing it.
Matt Williams told me last night that the most fun he had was not the home run, not even the great defense, but rather this, his great classic hook slide around Charles Johnson in the first inning. That, he said, was good old-fashioned baseball fun.
Williams scored 3 times last night to help the Indians even the series at 2 games apiece. And this series starting last Saturday night with rookie Livan Hernandez upstaging postseason warrior Orel Hershiser. Well, tonight they meet again in another sort of opener, as this series is now the best of 3. Their target is identical, and yet these pitchers are so different. Separated by 17 years in age, and their backgrounds worlds apart. Cuban native Livan Hernandez has become the Marlins' overnight sensation, while being torn between his stardom and his half-brother's anguish. Orlando Hernandez, perhaps Cuba's greatest pitcher, banned from baseball by his government. Now both of them focused on baseball's ultimate reward.
Goals are something I set and I keep in front of me all the time. And I have a saying that I always say, something new happens to me every day. And now that goal of making it to the World Series has been achieved. Now we have that goal of winning the World Series.
The baseball journey has been much different for his opponent. The All-American boy, Orel Hershiser, can draw upon years of experience playing at baseball's highest level. MVP of the 1988 World Series. At age 39, he remains tenacious and tough, the Bulldog. He has been able to alter his style to continue his success.
When I was younger, I was like almost so calm and so toned down that it was like I was trying to act like a big leaguer. Now, as I'm older, I've decided that I've got to show the passion. You know, this might not happen for very long, so I have to show the passion. I have to get into it.
Now, the U.S. government will be broadcasting tonight's game via radio and TV Marti in Cuba. However, those signals are always jammed by the Cuban government, so it's very unclear whether or not Livan Hernandez's family will be able to see tonight's game. They were able to listen to Game 1 on an unclear radio signal from a Miami station, so they may be able to hear some of it.
And so the international human drama continues. Last night, of course, it was the Indians' rookie pitcher and his slugging third baseman who played heroes.
Welcome back to balmy 43-degree Cleveland, Ohio. First pitch of Game 5 is a little less than 10 minutes away. It's been a wild last 2 games. All the temperatures have been cool. The bats have been hot. 38 runs scored in the last 2 games. So much for the pitcher's supposed advantage in the cool weather.
Indeed. And now it's the Marlin hitters who better be ready for a fired-up Orel Hershiser coming off his Game 1 beating. A man who has faced Hershiser 52 times is the Red shortstop Barry Larkin. He went into our batter's test tube to warn the Marlins what to expect.
You ever competed with a guy in, I don't care what sport, basketball, tennis, golf, chess, checkers, and he keeps coming at you again and again and again, no matter how many times he loses, till finally he wins the game? Well, that guy's pitched tonight for the Indians. Hershiser got beat up pretty bad in Florida, so he's highly motivated to win this game tonight. You won't see many changes in Hershiser because he truly believes upstairs that he's got better location than those hitters have bat control. So you won't see changes. You'll see that sinker ball in, You'll see that fastball up and in to keep you honest. Then you'll see him go away with the slider and keep his changeup down in the zone. And if he ever did decide to load one up, it'd be an icicle by the time it gets back here. Hey, the Bulldogs gonna have to play like a St. Bernard tonight to win.
Two things for the record. Mr. Casas' Penguin provided by SeaWorld, and also Larkin 15 for 47 with no homers or RBI against Orel. For more Inside Baseball, log on with Larkin at MLBWorldSeries.com. And about Orel and the spitter, he denies it completely, says that's the sinker he learned in '83, without which he'd be working in a flour mill.
Time now for our national anthem. Let's send it to Cleveland Indians public address announcer Mark Trumba.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remove your caps and remain standing for the presentation of colors by the United States Marines, the United States Navy, and the United States Army. Ladies and gentlemen, to honor America in the performance of our national anthem, please welcome Grammy Award-winning artist Bruce Hornsby and Branford Marsalis.
Which team will move one win away from becoming World Series champions? Game 5 is next as we turn it over to Bob Costas, Joe Morgan, and Mr. Baseball, Bob Uecker, after these messages.
Game 5 almost upon us, and joining us in the booth, Mr. Baseball, Bob Uecker, and Hall of Famer Joe Morgan. Joe, the teams have alternated victories. The Marlins in 1 and 3, Cleveland in 2 and 4. Why did things swing Cleveland's way last night?
Bob, for a team that hit 220 home runs, usually you have a lot of free swingers. But last night, the Indians showed great discipline and patience. They would not swing at pitches just off the plate. They were all very patient, waiting for pitches that they could handle. Usually you equate this with one player, but the whole team was like this, and Matt Williams waits in the 8th inning and hits the ball out of the ballpark. As long as they're patient, you will get a good pitch to hit. We'll see if they're patient tonight with Livan Hernandez.
What about that pitching pairing? Again, rookie and veteran.
Well, it's a rematch of Game 1, Bob. Orel Hershiser, the veteran, against the rookie. And Orel Hershiser in Game 1 had all kinds of problems with location. Moises Alou hit a 3-run homer on a high fastball. Then Charles Johnson hit a tape measure job on another pitch around the belt. Livan Hernandez, although he didn't have a good curveball in that first outing, threw fastballs around the outside corner, every once in a while a breaking ball, and the strike zone was rather liberal. It's going to be interesting tonight to see if home plate Randy Marsh, the umpire at home plate Randy Marsh, is that lenient with those outside pitches.
As always, just before the first pitch, we go down to the field for a report from Jim Gray. So here he is.
All right, thank you very much, Bob. Well, I spoke to Charles Johnson, and he told me that he wants to speed up the pace tonight of Livan Hernandez. He wants him to pitch much faster than usual. He says Hernandez likes to have a slow-paced, deliberate game, but he wants his pace much quicker tonight for a couple of reasons. A, he doesn't want him standing out there on the mound thinking about the situation too much, and B, he doesn't want his arm to stiffen up in the cold because Hernandez is from Cuba, and he's very used to playing in the warm weather. Now, Johnson went on to say that he feels that he's going to need all of his pitches tonight, that he's going to need his good curveball, unlike what he had in Game 1. He says he's going to have a good grip on the ball and keep his hand warm. Now, I spoke to Hernandez, and he told me that really he doesn't like the cold. He's upset about the cold. However, he pitched very well in Portland, Maine with the cold when he had the opportunity. He said, you know, regardless of the situation here tonight and all the pressure, after everything that I've been through, really nothing is going to bother me. Bob?
Jim, thanks very much. We begin by taking a look at the Florida lineup. Devon White is still at the top. Joe Morgan wouldn't fill out a lineup card this way if he were managing the Marlins, and we'll talk to him about it in this first inning. Conine is in there, and here's part of the reason. 6 for 13 in his career, including a home run against Oral Hershiser. So Eisenreich, who had been DHing, is out. Dalton, who had been playing first base, moves to the DH spot.
And let's take a look at Oral Hershiser. Hershiser has a good sinking fastball, throws a curveball and a changeup. He's a very smart pitcher, and if he's throwing well, he will get a lot of ground balls. Don't expect him to make the same mistakes he made in Florida. And the defense behind him features some Gold Glovers. Matt Williams at third base and Omar Vizquel at shortstop. Two excellent glove men, but this is a very good defensive team that the Indians put on the field.
And Marquise Grissom in center field has won Gold Gloves in the past in the National League. The leadoff man for Florida is Devon White. He struck out 4 times last night, and he's batting 167 in this World Series. Now, if you were managing the Marlins, he would not be playing tonight, true?
Well, I would give him a day off, try to regroup, because he has not scored a run. He's your leadoff hitter, and your team has scored a lot of runs. He has not scored one. And that's not a knock at Devon. It's just that at this point, maybe you give him a day off to relax. He'll have another day tomorrow, and maybe he'll bounce back for you in Game 6 and 7 to have some big games. And look at the mark he has set now. His consecutive at-bats, 5 strikeouts. And you have to also remember that Jim Eisenreich, in my opinion, hit the biggest home run in this series so far in Game 3 here. So Eisenreich's now on the bench.
There's Jim, available as a pinch hitter. White at 167, as I mentioned, in this World Series. Hasn't scored a run, hasn't driven one in, hasn't drawn a walk, has struck out 7 times. All one from Hershiser. Randy Marsh has the plate. Ken Kaiser is at first. Ed Montague is at second. Dale Ford at third. Left field line, Joe West. Right field line, Greg Kosk.
Well, and Oral Hershiser 2-0 now on Devon White. That first pitch, Bob, a high fastball that he got away with, then dropped a sinker down low.
2-0 pitch, hit sharply, but it's not going to get him anything as Vic Roberts throws him out. And Joe Morgan shakes his head because the count was 2-0, and I know what you're thinking, Joe.
Well, I think a lot of times you can get yourself out of a slump if you're more patient at the plate, if you see a few more pitches. And Oral Hershiser is a guy that will give you a pitch to hit, so you have to be patient with him.
So White sits down, and up comes Edgar Renteria. 313 in the series after hitting 277 for the regular year. Ball 1. Renteria, like his counterpart in this series, Omar Vizquel, might very well have won a Gold Glove, but he was edged for it by the Mets' young standout Ray Ordonez. 3-0.
Al Hershiser again, 3 fastballs now on Renteria, 2 off the outside and a little bit low, and then pushed him back with a high inside fastball.
Well, he's only thrown 1 pitch in the strike zone so far, and he got it out on that. So Renteria does a good job here. It's 3-0. He automatically is going to take 1.
Full count. Hershiser was 14-6 for the regular season. He's 0-1 in this postseason. His ERA approaching 5. He's had 4 starts, 3 no decisions in the playoffs, and a loss in the World Series opener. And Renteria taps it slowly. Williams comes on, bare hands and throws. Not in time.
Well, that's why Matt Williams wins Gold Gloves. A slower runner, he would have made that play. I mean, he made a spectacular play as it is. He barehanded it and he threw off balance, but Renteria got out of the box very well, and he beat it out. And watch this. He's coming full bore. Just barehand the ball, take 1 step and throw. You can't make the play any better than that, and a very close play at first base. Look at that, 1 step and a throw. You don't get rid of the ball any quicker than that. But good hustle there by Renteria.
I'm going to say, Joey, he had himself in position, too. He had turned his body sideways to make the pickup and then the throw in the same motion, and Renteria just beat it. And again, Renteria trying to pull a little sinker off the outside corner, and that's what Hershiser tries to get you to do. That low outside sinker, if you pull it, you're going to be dead against this guy.
A ball to Sheffield.
Here again is that play by Williams. See him get himself in position to make the throw, and the throw just a bit late for Renteria. Solid play by Williams.
Sheffield hitting .333 in the series with a homer. He's also walked 5 times. Strike 1. Look at that on-base percentage through the postseason, as everyone is very careful with him. But when he gets you in a position with men on base where you have no choice but to throw a strike, he will punish you. Hit sharply through the middle. Base hit for Sheffield. Renteria around second as Grissom fields it, and he'll hold there.
As I said earlier, if you're patient, you will always get a pitch to hit. It doesn't matter who the pitcher is, you will get a pitch to hit. He threw him a good breaking ball to get strike 1. Now watch where this breaking ball is. This one is up, so you're a little more patient. See, and he hits this ball right back through the middle. So anytime as a hitter, you're patient, you wait long enough, they'll give you a pitch to hit.
Jim Leyland said the one thing about this Miami club, and against a guy like Hershiser, got the good sinker and the slider, they don't try to do too much with him. Do with him what he's going to give you. That pitch away, and Sheffield hit it to center.
Bonilla on the first pitch, a double play ball. There's 1, and there's 2. 2 hits, but no runs. And now the Indians come up in the first. Games 3 and 4 with Tony Fernandez at second base, but now with the right-hander going, Giles is in left, Fernandez is on the bench, and Roberts plays second base. Bipp was bothered by the stomach flu midway through the game last night, and he sat down for a few innings, but he's able to go in Game 5. The scouting report on Livan Hernandez.
And Livan Hernandez, fastball, curveball, slider, and change. Didn't have the good curveball in his first outing against the Indians. He throws them all for strikes at any time. And basically, we'll see how Randy Marsh, the home plate umpire, is going to work tonight on the corners, and especially for Hernandez.
A ball high to Bipp Roberts. Hernandez was 9-3 after coming up from the minors at midseason. That's for the regular year. 3-0 in the postseason. A ball and a strike as we quickly check with Keith Olbermann.
Bob, a little bit more on Bipp Roberts' health. He is feeling better after those flu miseries from last night. Says, I can get 7 or 8 out of me, referring to innings. He came out after the 7th last night. Back to you.
2 balls and a strike to him. Switch hitter, of course, and as Mike Hargrove says, my only true leadoff man, what with his speed. 3-1.
Now the Indians have scored 7 first-inning runs in this series against the Marlins.
They've scored at least 1 in the first every game. And now Roberts is aboard.
Well, Jim Gray's report on Livan Hernandez and his dislike for the cold weather, and it's been that way for everybody, of course, in this series. But if you go out there with that thought in mind that, you know, you don't want to pitch in this stuff, you don't like it, it's going to be a problem for you. Although he said, Bob, that he's pitched in cold weather before. I just believe that if you go out there in a game like this, and it's not really that bad tonight, you got to push that out of your mind. Forget about that. Go right at these guys.
In the playoffs and World Series, his control has been great. 24 strikeouts and only 4 walks in 20 innings of work. But he walks the first man he faces tonight. Roberts diving back in. Vizquel squares to bunt, takes a strike.
There are a lot of little things I look for to tip off whether a guy has his good stuff or he's in the right frame of mind. The first game we saw Hernandez pitch against the Braves, he looked very relaxed, poised, and everything. Today, when I saw him warming up in the bullpen, he did not have a good expression on his face. It was more like, well, maybe now I am in the World Series. This is a little different than anything that I've experienced before, including the first game.
Up and in, 1-1, and of course he's on the road in front of a hostile and very loud crowd.
Well, that's June through August. He was almost perfect. September, he struggled, but he is 3-0 in the postseason.
His 1-1 pitch, bunted toward third. Bonilla's play is to first, in time to get Vizquel on the sacrifice, with Roberts moving up.
And a good sacrifice bunt by Omar Vizquel. He laid that one down the third base line perfectly. Bonilla made the charge. There's Bonilla playing him shallow anyway. Lays it down nicely. Bonilla makes sure and throws Vizquel out with Roberts moving to second.
This is also a testament to Charles Johnson. You know, you have a guy like Vizquel up there. He's a left-handed hitter. You have Bip Roberts, who runs well at first base, yet you're willing to give up an out to get a runner in scoring position rather than try to have Vizquel hit and run or have Roberts steal second base. So Charles Johnson does change things for an offensive ball club.
Manny Ramirez has just 3 hits in the World Series, but 2 of them are home runs. Strike on the inside corner.
And that's exactly where they're going to try to pitch him, maybe up a little bit more. But you try to keep the ball in on him if you're going to throw him fastball. Do not throw him a lot of slow pitches. Livan Hernandez threw him a curveball that he hit out in the game in Florida. So you do not want to throw him a lot of slow pitches. You want to make him react quickly. Fastballs in and sliders away.
Breaking ball misses. Here's the pitch Hernandez threw to him in game 1. It's a hanging curveball up high, and he just launches it way out.
Well, he uses a heavy bat, Bob, and he doesn't have a real quick swing. You know, it takes his swing, it takes him a little time to get to the pitch. And that's the ball he hit last night, fastball away last night.
Back live, he's jammed on this one, rolls it to Renteria. There's the second out with Roberts holding second base.
Perfect pitch in there. 2 fastballs in and a slider away, and the fastball in gets him out. And this is what you want to do. After you watch hitters for 3 or 4 days, you do learn their tendencies. And Florida is making adjustments here. Look at that fastball way in. Nothing that Ramirez can do with this pitch. Watch it. Tails in more than he anticipates. Not a lot he can do with it, but that's the way you want to pitch him. Try to tie him up inside and try to get him to chase breaking balls away.
Now Hernandez will face Justice. First base open, but Williams on deck. 2 out and a thus far scoreless first. In there.
Well, there's the curveball that we were talking about at the top. The fact that he didn't have that against the Indians his first time out. That was a very sharp breaking curveball on Justice.
A pickoff at second, and Roberts is back safely.
Here it is again, that little move by Renteria sneaking in behind Roberts, and the throw from Hernandez just a little bit late.
Now is 0-1 to Justice. A ball and a strike.
In difference to Ramirez, David Justice here in this situation, we've seen him do it throughout the postseason. Anything away that he can reach, a strike from the middle to the outside, he'll hit to that gap in left center. He's done it on a number of occasions.
Fouls it back. David hit .329 for the year, and he's at .308 in this World Series.
There you look at David Justice. For the most part, he's a pull hitter. But he'll go the other way, left and center, and go that way with power. There you see the way they play him in the outfield, just about straight away. Devon White almost behind, directly behind second base, I should say, in center field.
Counsell, the second baseman, deep, back on the outfield grass. And Justice steps out. Two and two.
Joe, you watch this guy talking about Justice. No matter who's out there, left-handed, right-hander, that front leg always is going into the ball. I mean, he never seems to pull out. Once in a great while, when he's really fooled on a left-hander's breaking ball, he'll move that front foot towards first base. But otherwise, he's right into the pitch.
Here it comes on 2 and 2. Back to Hernandez. Roberts is stranded, and we played a scoreless first. Back to Jacobs Field after this.
1997 World Series is brought to you by Genuine Chevrolet, the cars more Americans trust. By Micron Electronics. Now you know, call 1-800-MICRON-PC. By MasterCard. MasterCard, the official card of Major League Baseball. And by Sprint. From long distance to paging to internet access. Sprint, it all makes sense.
The Goodyear Blimp Spirit of Akron has but a short trip to Cleveland to cover tonight's Game 5. On Saturday, the Stars and Stripes, based in Florida, will help us cover Game 6. For the first time in this series, neither team scores in their first turn at bat. Now Darren Daulton leads off in the Florida second. Hershiser's 1-0 pitch. 2-0 to Dutch in his second World Series appearance with the '93 Phillies against the Blue Jays. And this year, he's 5 for 10. Swings on the 2-0 and grounds it foul.
And a lot of people may be wondering, well, why isn't Jim Eisenreich DHing tonight and Darren Daulton is? Well, the main reason is, you know, he had to choose between the two. At least that's Leland's thinking. I thought he had to choose between the three, including Devon White. But the point is that Darren Daulton has scored 6 runs in this. He leads his team in runs scored.
There's a shot, and it's by Thome for extra bases. Daulton around first. And a fan reaches out and grabs it, so he's automatically entitled to second base. He's now 6 for 11 in this World Series.
And he has swung the bat very, very well, and that's why Daulton is in there. And Eisenreich is not. But Darren Daulton can rip the ball, and he's been hitting the ball so sharply. I mean, this ball is just ripped. It's not that far from Thome, but it was hit so hard that he didn't have time. And you can see the fan. He reaches over and gets a souvenir, but it was going to be a double anyway, but the fans should not interfere with the baseball. But it's kind of hard to tell them not to get a souvenir from the World Series.
Yeah, no matter how many times they make that announcement before the game, it never works.
Moises Alou, who had a 3-run homer off Hershiser in Game 1. Swings and misses.
The other thing with Daulton in there as the DH, we asked Jim Leland about Eisenreich playing in center field. He said, can he play center field, as Joe was talking about, to get the other guy in there as a DH, Devon White? He said, no, he can't play in center, flat out.
Eisenreich played center early in his career, but that's a long time ago. He's 38 years old now. And remember, Devon White has won 7 Gold Gloves, so he gives you something in the field, even if he's slumping at the plate.
That's true, but again, you're looking at a situation when you're on the road. I think you need to figure a way to outscore the other team, especially the way the Indians have scored runs in this series.
Daulton at second with nobody out. And it's 2-1 to Alou.
And you see he's getting a steady diet of breaking balls. He made a mistake with him last time in Florida, and he hit the ball out of the ballpark. But he is not going to make the same mistake by getting the ball middle of the plate in, and especially with some velocity on it. He's going to throw him a lot of off-speed pitches, as he's done so far in this at-bat.
Alou squibs one foul.
And there's another pitch. That's how Hershiser lives. He lives right on the edge. That pitch started in the strike zone, but by the time he got to the plate, it's out of the strike zone. But he gets a lot of hitters to commit. Now watch where this pitch is. See, now it's no longer in the strike zone. And when you have to swing at a pitch like that, in my opinion, you're better off taking it. And that's what the Indians did last night and were very successful.
Here's the 2-2. Over his head, and he sits down.
Well, there's a breaking ball that didn't break very much. Moises Alou a little bit upset at that pitch from Hershiser. This is a breaking ball that just didn't break. Watch this. It's a curveball that stays behind Alou and almost hit him. As a matter of fact, it almost hit his bat. Watch this.
But I don't understand how the catch could even catch it. He couldn't see it. That's a great stop there by Alomar.
Well, you know where it is in the area it is anyway, and the only thing that would stop you is if indeed it did hit Alou's bat.
3-2 pitch is popped up. Shallow center. Vizquel goes out and calls for it. That's the first out.
Well, he had a pitch to hit. He hung him a curveball, but Alou didn't quite get it. He hit it on the good part of the bat, but he pops it up. I mean, he got under it. Now watch this. He gets the pitch. Watch where this pitch is. See, that pitch is up, and he knows he should have hit it right there. He's very upset that he didn't hit it, but he had a pitch to hit.
Up and right over the plate, Joe. Right over the middle. Look at that pitch coming right over the middle of the plate, and as you said, about belt high, and Alou popped it up.
Now the veteran Jeff Conine. Ball 1 to him. He hit .242 for the year. He hasn't played every day in the postseason, but when he's gotten a chance, he's delivered some big hits. And as you see, he has a good history against Orel Hershiser.
And he also adds defense to this ball club. He's a better first baseman than is Darren Daulton. So that's the other reason that Leyland is making the change. He wants to get his best defense in this ball game as well, which also illustrates why Levon White is in center field. And Hershiser, I mean, he's been struggling this entire ball game. He's trying to be perfect, and these hitters, he's getting behind them, but they haven't made him pay so far.
3-0. Hershiser, of course, established his reputation in 1988 when he had a fabulous season for the Dodgers. He won 23 games, then went 3-0 in the postseason, including 2 wins against Oakland in the World Series.
And that's why he's been the kind of a pitcher he's been. He as Joe said earlier, he's going to make you try and chase pitches off the inside or beat you to death on the inside fastball off your fist. When he has to throw a strike, he will. But he basically tries to get you to chase. No matter what the count is, he's going to try to make you swing at a bad pitch.
His 3-1 to Conine is rolled foul. Conine was the last man Hershiser faced in his disappointing Game 1 outing. Jeff delivered a single, made the score 6-2, and finished Hershiser.
Hit a single to right center against Hershiser and knocked in a run. But again, he'll try to stay away. I mean, you try to pull that outside breaking ball, that's what he looks for, those little ground balls. And if you try to do that, and Conine is one of those guys that'll take that pitch to right field. Normally he hits that way. That's the way he'll go, up the middle or to right field.
Fans making some noise in anticipation of the 3-2 pitch. Hershiser now back astride the rubber. Conine sets himself. Daulton leads from second with 1 out. And it's hit toward the hole, but Thome backhands it. Takes it himself as Daulton moves up to third on the second out.
Well, that's what I was talking about with Conine. He didn't get all of that pitch, but it was away, and he tried to hit it to right field, and Jim Thome made the play.
Tried to punch it toward the hole, but Thome was playing way off the bag and in nearly perfect position to field it.
But he'll take that outside pitch, Bob. He's not one of those guys that sets on one particular way to hit. He'll go the other way. If you're going to give him that stuff on the outside, that's the way Conine's going to go.
Both Johnson and Hershiser remember the tape measure shot CJ hit in Game 1. Starts him with a strike. Here it is. Into the upper deck. A mammoth shot. Immediately following a Lewis homer. 1-1.
You mentioned Hershiser's record before this year, 8-1 in the postseason. You have to remember that was a young Orel Hershiser, as you just said, established himself early. Now he makes more mistakes than he did in those early days.
Popped into shallow right. It could be trouble. Coming on as Ramirez can't get it. The Marlins have the lead on a bloop single by Charles Johnson. Dalton scoring.
Well, it's just what these Marlins are trying to do, and Jim Leyland said it, to stay within their own realm, their game. Anything that's away, they're going to try to hit the ball to right field instead of trying to jerk a ball out of the ballpark. Charles Johnson did a nice piece of hitting right here. Watch this pitch. Down off the outside corner, he got enough of it to drop that flare in the right center field and put the Marlins on top by a score of 1-0.
So in game one, Johnson hurt Hershiser with a bomb. Here he hurts him with a bloop.
So he's at a bloop and a blast, huh?
Correct. It brings up Counsell, the number 9 hitter in Jim Leyland's order, and he takes ball 1.
Of all the people I've been impressed with that I didn't know much about before, I would have to say it's Craig Counsell, simply because he seems to know how to play the game. I mean, he's really a smart player.
2-0.
And he swings the bat very well. He stays in there on left-handed pitchers. And I've just been impressed with his approach to playing the game. You know, he seems to get himself in proper position in the field. He does a lot of good things at the plate.
2-1. Is it fair to say that the reason Orel Hershiser makes more mistakes now, as you pointed out, is that he's behind in the count more often because he just can't challenge you as he used to when he had the devastating slider, the great sinker? He still has good stuff, but it's not great stuff anymore. So he's trying to make you nibble. He's trying to nibble and trying to make you go after pitches outside the strike zone, and so he falls behind, like here, 3-1.
That's exactly correct. I mean, I faced Orel Hershiser when he first came up, and he threw very hard, had the good sinking fastball, and he could challenge you with those pitches. And now he can't make the same challenges, so he doesn't have as much margin for error.
And he walks Counsell. That's his first walk, but he's been behind a lot of hitters.
Alley dropped one low on Counsell and missed high and outside. There's a knee-high strike. And that pitch didn't look all that bad. Missed off the outside corner, and he walks Counsell.
But you can also see that Sandy Alomar Jr. is moving that glove a lot and moving it into the strike zone. We saw him get a pitch last year, but I didn't see him. I don't think you're going to see him get last night. You're not going to see him get that many pitches that often.
Well, if there's any guys who move the gloves more than these two catchers tonight, talking about Johnson and Alomar, I mean, that's been a common thing today. I mean, everybody does it. Catch those pitches off the outside, pull them back in off the inside to push them out.
I think Johnson holds his a little better, though.
A swing and a miss by Devon White. He's had a lot of big moments in the postseason, first for the Angels, then for the Blue Jays, with the exception of his Game 3 grand slam off Wilson Alvarez of the Giants in the division series. He hasn't done much in the playoffs and World Series in 1997. But he lines one over the leaping Roberts and comes through here. A run is home, and they're going to wave Counsell home. The throw is to second. Now the peg home. They may get him in time. So they get one, but cut down the trail runner at the plate.
NBC Sports.
I'm going to show you why this was a great play. First, a great slide there by Ramirez to cut it off. Now he gets the ball into Roberts. Now Roberts makes the play because watch what happens here. Right there, you see he's already in position to throw. He didn't have his back to the plate. He takes one step and throws. If he takes the ball with his back to the plate, he has to turn, find the plate, and he's not going to get the ball there in time. That was just perfect timing there by Roberts. He turned it just like a double play, and that's just why they were able to get Counsell there on that play.
Now Matt Williams fouls the first one off. Were you surprised they sent Counsell?
I was surprised they sent him, but I guess he figures it's 2 outs. They have to make a perfect relay, which they did, and they did get him. But the point I'm making is that Roberts had his side already toward the plate. All he did is catch the ball and throw to the plate. But a good relay by Ramirez. I mean, they made them do what they had to do. They made them make a perfect play, and they made it.
So now Livan Hernandez has a 2-0 lead to work with. Another look at it. 1 run scored on the play and 2 runs scored in the inning.
And look at this. Now watch Roberts. He's already turned. See right there? He's already turned toward home plate. All he has to do is throw it. I mean, that's just something that a lot of players do not know about, but that's the way you take a relay.
Hit to short. It comes up for Renteria, and Williams is retired. So it could have been 3-0. But 9-4-2, Ramirez to Roberts to Alomar. Counsell is cut down at the plate, and they had him by plenty.
Yeah.
Well, it was a great throw by Ramirez. He gave him the 1-hop throw. It was a perfect throw by Manny Ramirez. I mean, if he makes a bad throw, nothing ever happens. He made the perfect throw to Roberts.
But you
and a perfect throw.
You mentioned they had him, but remember one thing. When you have to turn, you're giving it runner like 5 extra feet.
Well, but it all starts with the relay throw, Joe. As you know, you've taken many of them.
A ball to Thome. Worth repeating that Devon White finally came through with a solid base hit, scored as a double.
That's exactly right. And the fact is, maybe hit that one too hard because they were able to make the play. But that's good to see if you're a Marlins fan. But then again, the percentages are in your favor. The more offers you take, at least I kept thinking that myself. It didn't always work that way.
So White knocked in 1 and might have had 2, but for the great relay. Thome now hits one to deep center field. White going back and looking up at the fence off the top of the wall. It bounces away from him, and Thome's going to get a triple. Coming over from right field is Sheffield to get it back in, but Thome slides in safely.
Now that's a high outside fastball by Hernandez. This ball was hit a mile in the air out into left center field. Here it is again. This is a high fastball, and Thome got it all. He's watching that ball. Thome thinks this ball's going to get out. That's a home run trot right there. Now, hey, this ball's off the wall. He gets the easy triple.
Well, he gets the triple because Devon White gets too close to the wall right there. If you're not going to catch it, you let it bounce off the wall. He got too close to the wall, and the ball bounces away from him.
Good play by Gary Sheffield to back it up. And again, this warning track here is that rubber cork stuff. Anything that hits on that's going to get a tennis ball bounce, which it did.
Trailing 2-0. The Indians with Thome at third base and Alomar at the plate, taking inside.
This ball is really hit by Thome. High off the wall, and Devon White, as Joe said, getting too close, bouncing over his head. But watch the play by Sheffield right there, and Thome gets the triple.
Strike 1 to Alomar. In 496 regular season at-bats, Thome didn't have a single triple.
Well, if you put on a home run trot like that at the start, that could be one of the reasons.
I'm surprised that they're playing the infield back and giving them this run, because you're at the bottom of the order, and if you play in, maybe cut this run off.
How are we doing with that?
So I'm a little surprised. We've seen them play in early in the ball games in the past.
But the bottom of the Cleveland order is different than most 7, 8, 9 hitters. You got Brian Giles next, who's a very tough left-handed hitter, and Grissom, who has the highest batting average in World Series play of anybody.
Yeah, but he went 0 for 4 yesterday.
Yeah, what a bad day.
With 2 flyouts to the fence.
But I really believe that, that you have a 1-run lead and you're just, or 2-run lead, and you're just giving one back.
The 1-2 pitch. Line to right, base hit.
Doesn't matter.
Well, it wouldn't have made any difference if the infield was in on that one. Alomar reaching out again for a pretty good pitch down and away and knocking it to right field to get the Indians on the board. That pitch was a breaking ball low and away. He went out and got it. Watch this. He goes right out there and gets it. He's done it on a number of occasions in this series and throughout the championship series. Beautiful piece of hitting by Alomar. And the Indians are on the board. There's the Indians bench. They're on the board 2-1 now. Marlins.
Brian Giles has had only 2 at-bats in this series. Base hits both times.
Now Brian Giles, basically a right field hitter with power. He hit 17 during the regular season. Hernandez's control here in the early innings anyway is not as sharp as it was. He seems to have a little better breaking ball, but fastballs off the outside corner, and Randy Marsh calling a pretty good game both ways here.
3-0 to Brian Giles. So the Marlins get 2 in the top of the second. It might have been more had Counsell not been cut down at the plate. And then immediately the Indians come back, push one across against Hernandez. They get the crowd back into it, and now the 3-0 to Giles is a strike. If you're just joining us, temperatures are in the mid-40s, but there's almost no wind, so it's much more comfortable than the first 2 nights in Cleveland. Full count.
Pretty good fastball that time by Hernandez. Giles right on it and fouled it back. Running the count full now, 3-2. Again, Hernandez with a good fastball. It's from the middle toward the outside. It's got that little sink on it. Giles down on it and fouled it toward the left side. Here it is again. That ball tailing away from Giles. And it's full up.
The runner goes on the 3-2 pitch, which is ball 4. Ball 4, no play at second base. Although, as we are well aware, the ball is alive. You better make sure it doesn't skip into center field. You better take nothing for granted, but it was ball 4.
Looked like a pretty good pitch, and Charles Johnson thought it was a strike. Was a curveball. I guess it was high. He comes up and fires a strike. Renteria gets the ball knocked out of his glove, and you see not a call. Yeah, that's what Johnson definitely thought the pitch was a strike.
He's not going to make Randy Marsh very happy with a throw like that, but it's automatic for a catcher. I mean, if the pitch is close and you're thinking it's a strike, you're automatically coming out of there to make a throw. Ball was dropped at second anyway, but as Bob said, base on balls on a high curveball. You know, I talked to Johnson tonight about his catching abilities, Bob, and his throwing. I asked him, I said, last night, did the cold bother you at all? You made a bad throw to second base? He said, no, not at all. He said, I was warm last night. My hands felt good. The arm felt good. He said, every once in a while, you're going to make a bad throw. But he said, weather had nothing to do, has had nothing to do with anything I have done behind the plate.
Let's quickly check in with Jim Gray on the Marlins bench.
All right, Bob, during that entire sequence of pitches, Jim Leyland, who normally never gets upset with the umpires, very upset with Randy Marsh. On a couple of those that were called balls, he felt they were strikes, and he's letting Randy Marsh know. Bob?
Grissom takes a strike.
Well, 2 people got an earful right there. They getting on Randy Marsh because they thought that curveball was strike 3. But when the pitching coach went to the mound, he was upset with Livan Hernandez because all he seems to want to throw is a curveball. So now he's got him going back to the fastball.
There's a fastball rolled to the left side. Bonilla throwing on the run and getting Grissom as the runners move up to second and third.
Bobby Bonilla, this is the ball that he will have trouble with, anything that he has to charge, because he can't stay down on it. Now watch, see how he gets a chance. He bends down there right there. You can see it hurts him. Now he comes up and throws a strike. Well, Bobby Bonilla has been hurt the entire series. He's had trouble right there. He's just not able to get down on the ball. And this one he's not able to move on. You see there, he just hobbled at third base. Again, he can't move, but he's made some great plays when he's been able to reach the ball.
A base hit here could give Cleveland the lead. Hernandez to Roberts, strike one.
Here's the breaking ball that Hernandez wants. Down around the knees, started off the outside corner and caught the outer part against Roberts.
Up and in, 1-1. Bipp walked his first time up.
Well, he went inside now with a fastball. Let's see if he tries that outside corner again with a curveball. That's been a strong pitch for Hernandez throughout the postseason. Up and in.
Tipped back into Johnson's glove for strike two.
Little 92-mile-an-hour fastball here from Hernandez. Well, this kid for a youngster, I mean, really has a great presence. Knows exactly what he wants to do. Doesn't do it all the time, but he's got a great idea out there. And Charles Johnson sitting off the inside that time. He threw it right there.
Roberts just stays alive with that one. Alomar, who singled home a run, is at third. Giles, who walked, is at second. 2-1 Florida, bottom of the second. 2 outs and a 1-2 count to Bipp Roberts.
Charles Johnson talked about wanting Hernandez to speed up. He's very slow here and deliberate in this inning.
Two and two. When the great Cuban pitcher Luis Tiant won games 1 and 4 of the 1975 World Series, Livan Hernandez was just a few months old. The pride of Cuban baseball fans everywhere, even those who can't follow it directly on the island, they soon get word of it, trying to win his second game of this World Series as a rookie. And he runs the count out full to Bipp Roberts.
And again, a curveball and down low and inside to Roberts. And the block by Charles Johnson. Here it is one more time. There's the curveball down low and a good block by Charles Johnson, getting his body in front of that ball again. Runners at second and third. Good play.
Well, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for him if he was to walk Bipp Roberts. You're not going to walk him intentionally, but at least you make sure that you make your pitch. Try to get him to chase something out of the strike zone.
Breaking ball off the outside corner, and the bases are loaded for Omar Vizquel.
I still think you got to go after these guys once in a while. That breaking ball off the outside, and Hernandez has showed a pretty good fastball tonight. Got Roberts to chase one high and inside on a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. That time missing off the outside corner with a 3-2 curve.
But there are more holes in Vizquel swings than there are in Bipp Roberts. That's why he hits 300 over the course of a season. He's a good hitter, and he will put the ball in play. Vizquel is an easier out than Bipp Roberts.
Vizquel hit 280 during the regular season.
He's not bad, and every once in a while you've got to be careful with Vizquel. If he's looking for a certain pitch, despite the fact that they play him toward the other way, toward left field, this guy will pull you and he'll hit you hard.
First pitch is a strike. The first game was a disaster in terms of how the Indians produced with runners in scoring position. Pretty good after that. They have them loaded with 2 outs here. And the 0-1 to Vizquel. Line to left center field. Devon White is on the move, and he's got it. They score 1, but leave the bases loaded. And Hernandez clings to a 1-run lead.
Livan Hernandez into the dugout here. Now remember, he was chewed out at the mound by Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach. Milt May goes over, taps him on the shoulder. Here's Rothschild talking to him because he was chewed out. Now here comes Johnson, who was also chewing him out a little bit. Now he says, okay, we're all right. And that's Alex Fernandez trying to calm him down. The reason that they were on him is because they feel like he's trying to be too cute out there. They want him to go after a few more hitters, even if it's a breaking ball, but throw it for a strike. Don't nibble with it.
Hershiser's first pitch to Renteria is a called strike as we move to the third. I know it's early in his career, and he's new to this country and new to these circumstances, but is his obviously volatile temper a potential liability? Vizquel cuts down Renteria. We'll get back to that question in a moment as Sheffield comes to the plate.
Well, we were talking last night about Gary Sheffield not sliding on a double play attempt, and this is last night when we saw this. Now watch, he doesn't slide. He said he was tricked by Vizquel. Now tonight, Vizquel's going to make him slide. Look at that. He's going right after him, so Sheffield gets down. But I talked to Gary before the game. I said, why didn't you slide? He said, last night, he tricked me. He acted like he was going to the inside. I was going to slide there, and then he went to the outside, and I couldn't slide. So he said it wasn't intentional. He said it was a good deep play by him on by Vizquel.
Sliding is better than leaving with a big hump on your chest. I know
I told him that.
Sheffield grounded a single to center in the first and rifles this one down the left field line, but foul. So now back to Hernandez.
Yeah, back to your point. That's why I was saying when I saw him the first game before Atlanta, I mean, he was composed and calm. The first game of the World Series, there was a little more irritation in him when he was warming up down there. And tonight I saw it when he was warming up before the game. He just didn't seem like he had the same kind of composure, and he's losing it out there on the mound.
Well, he threw a fit after he was yanked from game one of this World Series.
Now, looking at it from another player's perspective, I mean, that gets old after a while. I mean, you're in this game. You've got the lead in this game, and it's a pivotal game, as you said earlier, Bob. And to throw fits and throw tantrums, I mean, guys are going to hit you. If you don't make pitches, guys are going to hit you. This is the big leagues, and it's the World Series, for one thing.
1-2 to Sheffield.
The other thing you worry about with a guy like him, Bob, is the fact that he comes in there, starts kicking stuff and punching stuff. He's going to hurt himself and take himself out of this series.
More than one guy has found himself on the disabled list, pitcher or hitter, from throwing a tantrum and injuring himself inadvertently.
Yep.
The 1-2 pitch to Sheffield. A liner that is taken by Bip Roberts, who had him played perfectly toward the second base bag. Don't forget, while you're watching tonight's game, if you're able to split your attention, you can send in your questions to Barry Larkin, who's online right now at MLBWorldSeries.com. Plus, in case you missed today's chat with Mr. Baseball Bob Uecker, you can read the entire transcript online. It is, I assure you, a must-read. Look at Barry Larkin. He seems fascinated by it. All on MLBWorldSeries.com.
I had a good time today. It was a lot of fun. They had over 1 million calls.
Get out of
20
town.
minutes. 20 minutes, 1 million calls. I'll collect.
0-1 to Bonilla, who grounded into a double play to end the first. I believe there was some confusion on the number. 1 digit off. They thought they were dialing the Psychic Friends network. The 2-1. Line drive, nabbed by Vizquel. Routine for a 5-time Gold Glover. Still 2-1 Florida. Heart of the order in the Indian fifth. Ramirez, Justice, and Williams trailing by a run. A ball from Livan Hernandez.
This is what the Indians did in game one. They purposely tried to keep Livan from getting in a rhythm. They stepped out several times, slowed his pace. He slowed it himself today, but they're still going to try to do that.
Grounded to third. Bonilla has it. His long throw gets Ramirez.
I'll tell you one thing, he's got a good arm. Bobby Bonilla, that is. I mean, he backs up on the ball, gets it off balance, and still throws a strike. He did the same thing from one knee. I mean, he's got a very strong arm. I'm really surprised at how strong his arm is. And watch, he has to back up on this. Anytime you're backing up, you lose a lot of momentum. He checks, look at that. He even throws it 3/4. He didn't even get on top, and he fires a strike to first base.
Which brings up David Justice, who tapped out to the mound his first time up. A strike, although Justice thought it was inside.
Just off the inside corner. David Justice turned around very quickly on Randy Marsh. Here it is again. This fastball. And around the inside corner, that little Taylor coming back from Hernandez.
1-1. We've mentioned this before, but as the World Series moves along, we may pick up viewers who are not fully familiar with the situation. So we'll tell you a bit more about Livan Hernandez as this inning moves along. And now Justice steps out. He defected 2 years ago in Mexico, but his entire family is still back in Cuba, including his half-brother Orlando, who is a virtual political prisoner. 1-2. He's one of several Cuban players and coaches, speaking of Orlando, who has been banned from baseball on the island because they attempted to defect or was suspected of attempting to defect, as Livan and some 20 other Cubans have done. Cubans now playing professional baseball in the United States. And Livan says of Orlando, he was much better than me, one of the best pitchers in Cuban history. Two and two. He's very guarded in his comments, as you might suspect. Doesn't want to get into politics, but what he says about his mother is very poignant. We'll wait for this next pitch, which is cut on and missed, and David Justice strikes out. When speaking of his mother, Livan Hernandez said, "I can only say I would want to bring my mother here and buy her a palace." But Miriam Carreras remains in Cuba. So far as we know, not granted an exit visa even to come to the United States and visit while her son is pitching in the World Series. Now Matt Williams takes a strike. The strikeout of Justice was the first recorded tonight by Hernandez, who had 15 in his Game 5 victory in the LCS over the Braves.
Well, all the moms in the world would love him. Bob Gibson, 17, Andy Koufax, and in the LCS, Livan Hernandez.
And Mike Mussina, of course, in just 7 innings in that brilliant performance for the Orioles against the Indians. Only Gibson, who struck out 17 Tigers in Game 1 in 1968, has more in any sort of postseason game. Here's the 2-1 pitch. In the dirt.
Well, that's 3 breaking balls he's thrown to Williams to run the count 3-1. Williams hit a long home run here last night on a high outside fastball, a fastball middle to the outside, up above the belt, and he hit it out of here.
Well, you have to throw Williams breaking balls, but you try to get a hit in the count so he'll chase them. He's not going to chase those pitches if he doesn't have 2 strikes. He's not going to chase those pitches out of the strike zone.
Williams had 3 hits, including a long homer to left last night. Also walked twice. Ball 4. That's the 4th walk issued by Hernandez, who had walked only 4 in his preceding 20 innings before tonight in this postseason.
There you are, the breaking ball for a strike. Another curveball off the outside corner, fastball inside, and a breaking ball down. Here's that last fastball to walk Williams. The 2-man out.
Now he'll have to deal with Thome, who homered off him in Game 1 and nearly duplicated that in his first at-bat here, tripling to deep center.
Well, he got a fastball up on Thome, and he hit it. Thought it was a home run when he hit it. Wound up being a triple as it bounced over the head of Devon White.
Just beneath that yellow line. Can't come much closer. And this one gets by Johnson, skipping to the screen. Williams to second on what will no doubt be scored a wild pitch.
And this is more of a slider than his curveball. This is a little harder. See, this pitch is harder, and Jim Thome barely able to get out of the way. Charles Johnson tries to slide over in front of it. He can't get there, and the ball bounces away. That was a hard breaking ball, not his normal curveball, which means he held on to it a little too long, and he tried to throw it too hard.
Hernandez very deliberate, as Joe has noted, standing at the back of the mound. Plus, the Cleveland hitters are continually stepping out on him, and now Johnson out to talk with him. Let's go to Keith Olbermann. Keith?
That is absolutely right, Bob. The deliberation of the Indians batters encouraged off the bench here. Kevin Seitzer yelled out, "Wait for him, he'll come. Wait for him." Back to you, Bob.
Bip Roberts among the spectators. Manny Ramirez next to him. 2-0 pitch finally on the way. 3-0 to Thome. The loss of Alex Fernandez not only wasn't felt in the LCS, in fact, it may have helped in the short term because it got Livan Hernandez into the rotation, and Kevin Brown was able to come back and win Game 6. But they're feeling it now with the way Saunders pitched last night, facing 16 and only retiring 6 of them. With Hernandez struggling, even though he won Game 1, he wasn't as sharp. He's having his problems tonight with his control. There's the 3-0, and Thome becomes the 5th walk.
Well, after he got behind in the count, he wasn't going to give him a pitch to hit. Everything is breaking balls down. And watch this. Another breaking ball down and in. He's not going to give him a pitch to hit here on 3-0. So he throws him another one in the dirt. It's okay not to give in on certain occasions, but that means you have to be that much tougher on the next hitter. Now he has to really go after Sandy Alomar Jr.
The other thing, too, Joe, this changes the whole Indians batting order. I mean, down the line into this game, as this game goes on, you're going to have to face more hitters. You're going to face guys that you normally would only face maybe 3 or 4 times, one more time.
Ball 1 to Alomar. There's Sandy Sr. The reason why Jr. wears number 15 is because Sandy Alomar Sr. was a teammate of Thurman Munson with the Yankees in the mid-70s, and 15 was Thurman's number. He wears it in tribute to the great catcher. 1-0 pitch is given a ride to left. Alou to the wall. It's gone.
To do with it. I mean, he really drills this pitch. Low fastball right out over the middle of the plate. And I mean, look at that swing and that finish. I mean, that ball is out of here right away.
Now the bases on balls after 2 are out. Just talked about it, what it does to you. I mean, and again, Alomar, the thing with him, John, you've watched him all year. As you look at the Indians bench, yeah, it's out of here. The ability to take the outside pitches to right field. He's really turned himself into a disciplined hitter. And when he gets something inside that he can really hit and hit hard to left, as you look at Sandy Alomar Sr. Yeah, you hit a few of those, Sandy Sr. Maybe not that far. Yes, sir. Former teammate of mine, too.
4-2 Cleveland. All 4 runs driven home by Sandy Alomar Jr., whose dream season continues. Two-0 to Giles. Alomar is now hitting around 500 in the World Series. In fact, 526 on 10 for 19, 2 homers, 9 RBIs. This after a season in which he hit .324 with 21 home runs, had a 30-game hitting streak, and was the MVP of the All-Star game in his home park.
All I know is I wouldn't want to be in that Marlins dugout. I bet those guys are starting to move around in there.
Ball 4. The third walk in this inning, plus a wild pitch, and the 6th walk in 2 2/3 for Hernandez.
Larry Rothschild now. Telephone in hand, bullpen getting busy. Hernandez says he's all right. He tells Renteria, I'm okay. Renteria came in for a couple of words. He said, I'm all right. The velocity seems to be there. He's trying to overthrow from time to time. And left-hander Felix Heredia is up for the Marlins.
Well, we're going to find out what Livan Hernandez is made of here. See if he can come back.
And he steps off as Giles strolls back to first.
Well, make no mistake about it. It's only a 4-2 lead, and you're in the 3rd inning. So let's see if he can come back and get it together again. The real problem is he just kept biding his time until he had to make a pitch, and he had to give in to Sandy Alomar Jr. You know, he walked both Williams and Thome by not giving in after he got behind in the count.
Now he works to Grissom, who bounces it foul. It is only 4-2. The same 2-run lead for the Indians that the Marlins had only an inning back. But because of the atmosphere and the way things seem to be unraveling for Hernandez, it seems like more.
Well, you're right, but he can get it together and come back. I mean, if he's tough, we'll see what happens here.
By the way, I shortchanged Sandy Alomar an RBI. He has 10 in this World Series. 10. A ball and a strike.
Well, as Hernandez did in the first game against Hershiser, had trouble with his curveball. Didn't really have the sharp breaking curveball. It has a bigger bite to it tonight, but he's not throwing it for strikes. He's missed plenty with it.
Hit to the hole. Renteria can't get it. Giles stops at second. And now Grissom has started a new World Series hitting streak. We've got Dave Nelson, the first base coach, mic'd again tonight. Here's his reaction when Alomar connected.
All right. Yes. Get up. Get up. Yes, attaboy, Sandy. Yes. Not quite the Euchre seats, but it'll do.
Not quite the Euchre seats, but it'll do.
Attaboy, Dave. See you this winter on tour.
Dave tailoring his material for broadcast with mentions of Morgan and Euchre as often as he can. A line drive right at Renteria. Roberts is done, and so are the Indians finally in the 3rd. But they score 3.
Livan Hernandez going into the dugout this time. He was throwing things last time. Seems calm here. And truthfully, you have to get your composure back and try to regroup and hold your team in this ball game. You're only down 4-2.
And a strike to Dalton, who doubled down the right field line his first time up.
Well, that the Livan Hernandez holding in each hand a couple of hand warmers. It's a chemical solution in those bags that you break, and they stay warm for quite a while.
Hershiser now pitching with the lead, and Dalton ripping one foul. He has consistently gotten good swings when he's been used in this series.
Well, one thing about Darren Dalton is that he knows the strike zone. He gets himself a good pitch to hit every time he goes to the plate.
Now the 1-2 pitch. Hit hard, but again foul.
And again, Hershiser staying inside. That's a tough pitch for Dalton, or anybody else for that matter, to hit fair. These balls are inside, about belt high. Watch again. There's Alomar sitting off the inside, and that pitch inside, Dalton out in front, and pulled it foul again to the lower seats. See if he goes down and away again now with a sinker, trying to get him to chase.
He pops it up. Hershiser saying Thome should take it. That's what happens. Folks, a week from tonight, must-see Thursday returns with all new Friends, Union Square. First Friends, that would be Union Square. Then Seinfeld, followed by Veronica's Closet and ER. All new must-see Thursday, 1 week from tonight. Moises Alou popped to short his first time up. Hershiser gets a strike.
We showed Moises Alou in the outfield last night with a glove on, and he hits without any. And he said the reason for that is he'll take batting practice with gloves sometimes, but he thinks the ball jumps better when he doesn't have any gloves on.
Takes a brave man when the weather is cold. The 0-2 pitch struck him out.
Well, gloves or not, Hershiser with 3 good breaking balls, 3 curveballs to take care of Alou in this at-bat. First one, strike on the outside corner. Right back with a curve, missed it down low, and a curveball low and outside. He chased it for the strikeout.
First strikeout for Hershiser tonight.
I know his dad, Felipe, is at home watching and saying, stay in there. Keep your front shoulder in there. Don't pull off.
Conine swings and misses.
Hershiser's velocity up here a little bit. 88 miles an hour on that sinker.
A liner to center. Grissom picks it off his shoe tops. And so Florida is out in order in the 4th.
1997 World Series is brought to you by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. By American Express. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, American Express helps you do more. By UPS, moving at the speed of business. And by IBM, solutions for a small planet.
And to find out about the 75-year history of Goodyear blimps and for a look at the cockpit, just click on www.goodyear.com.
A little smoother ride tonight. Wind has really died down in Cleveland.
As Hernandez faces Vizquel in the bottom of the 4th. A called strike.
And this is the inning that we'll find out whether he's going to be able to stay in this ball game or not. He's got to come out this inning throwing strikes and shut the Indians down, or else he's going to be gone very quickly. Leland cannot afford to fall much farther behind and expect to win this ball game.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. Off the corner, 2-1. In the air to right. Sheffield in, Counsell out, and it's Sheffield. Our NFL coverage continues on Sunday, a doubleheader day for NBC. Denver's Terrell Davis, one of the best running backs in the game, chats with Greg Gumbel, Steelers coach Bill Cowher, the ageless Warren Moon, a feature on the surprising Giants, and much more scheduled for the pregame show. Then in Game 1, most of the country gets the Broncos and the Bills. In Game 2, the Jaguars and the Steelers, or regional action, all beginning at noon Eastern on NBC this Sunday, a Sunday that might include Game 7 of the World Series.
And Warren Moon faces the Raiders.
You love those Raiders, don't you?
The Raiders.
A strike to Ramirez, who was grounded out twice. Ramirez has only 3 hits, as we've mentioned, but 2 of them are home runs, contributing to the mounting total of round trippers in this series. Hernandez throws the fastball by him.
And again, 91 miles an hour. His velocity is still there. Location hurt him. 6 walks in this game, which is very uncommon for Hernandez.
And he's working quicker this inning, even though the Indians are stepping out. He's ready to go. And that's what Johnson wants him to do. Here, step up and throw it.
That one got up to 93. And Ramirez with a piece of it, so the count holds at 1-2.
And staying away from the curveball a little bit more, too, Joe. Working basically with a fastball, every once in a while a curve. Sometimes you throw that curveball, guys fall in love with it. I mean, you're getting pitches off the outside or around the corners with a curveball. Sometimes you fall in love with it instead of your number one, which for Hernandez is his fastball. Everything works off of that.
There's a curveball, and it didn't miss by much.
Basically, again, you'll try to stay inside on Ramirez. Here's that last curveball. Good breaking ball, gets right on top of it, just off the outside corner.
Now the fastball tries to bury it in on his hands, and he fouls it back.
He didn't try, he did. He jammed Ramirez with a good tight fastball, and he fouled it back. He fought it off. Here it is. Watch this, up and in. You see Ramirez, look how close to his body Ramirez's hands are. There's just no way you can hit that ball or hit it fair. You made Blair one into right.
And you see Ramirez got in, then he backs out. He is just, they're just not going to let Livan Hernandez get into a rhythm.
And he fouls another one off. As we watch Hernandez work, we recall the great Cuban players who have performed in the major leagues. Minnie Minoso, your old teammate Tony Perez, Tony Oliva, three-time American League batting champion, the great curveballing right-hander for the Senators and Twins, Camilo Pascual, and Cuban-born players of a later generation like Rafael Palmeiro and Jose Canseco. And now a few more, and more to follow. Ordonez and Hernandez and others. Bonilla to his left. It comes up for him. He guns it across, and he does have a strong arm.
I mean, let's take a look at him. He moved pretty quickly here, but he got a pretty good jump on this. Watch. So he can push off of his right leg. It's his left leg where he has the problem going to his right. But right there he comes up, and I mean, he strings it across the infield. I have been very impressed with the accuracy and the power in his arm.
Well, the other day, Joe, when he made that backhanded stab and then threw from his knees, that told me what kind of arm he had. He threw a seed to first even on that play.
Ball one.
Bob, you mentioned the Cuban players. The Marlins have a Cuban All-Star game there at their ballpark every year. With all these great stars you just mentioned participating. And I was fortunate enough that I was there this year on a Sunday when they had that game. And it was great to see all those great players. And I mean, they have such great camaraderie together.
2-1 to Justice. In this, the 50th anniversary of Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier. It's worth noting that baseball fans of earlier generations were also deprived of seeing all the great Latin stars who were deemed too dark-skinned to play under baseball's segregation rules. 2-2, and so the likes of the great Martin Dihigo, one of the great players of all time from Cuba. He played in the Negro Leagues only. A shortstop named Silvio Garcia, coveted by Branch Rickey, who eventually brought Jackie Robinson to the big leagues, never got to play in the major leagues. One of the best ever, we're told.
I think that was interesting, though, but because you're mentioning the fact they're all of the same descent, but because one is a little darker than the other, he could not play.
Well, for example, a light-skinned Cuban like Dalton Luque was a 20-game winner for Cincinnati in the 1920s. Justice waits on it, lines it hard, but right into the glove of Conine. The Indians are out 1-2-3 in the fourth, and it remains 4-2 Tribe. Fifth, Cleveland leads it 4-2 after trailing 2-0. Uke, is it worth asking, with Hershiser now having retired 6 in a row, is he approaching a groove?
Yeah, I think so. 6 in a row now, Bob, and he seems to be in there with a fastball. His sinker seems to be diving a little bit, breaking ball, and yeah, I think he's in a groove. As long as he stays downstairs, that's his groove.
He starts Charles Johnson with a strike to open the fifth. He's ahead of him 0-2.
That's just what we were talking about. I mean, if he stays down there, and that's the Hershiser that we know and American League hitters have faced for the last few years, If he's down there, he's tough. And this crowd, again, right back into it, standing.
But see, that's un-Hershiser-like, yeah, right there.
That's a mistake.
And that's the problem that I think we see here. I mean, in the past, he never would make an 0-2 mistake in the middle of the plate and up like that. No balls and 2 strikes. He's going to usually make the hitter chase something out of the strike zone. But that was a pitch that Charles Johnson should have hit.
And he can't hit that one either. Second strikeout for Hershiser.
Much better pitch there. Hershiser will only throw as many strikes as you make him. He throws one there. This is not a strike. He makes a mistake right there. Now, this is not a strike either. But that's the way all Hershiser pitches. And when you get a pitch to hit, you better hit it. And you may be right, Bob. That's his second strikeout. He didn't have any in the first 3 innings. And now he's had it 2 in the last inning and a half.
As Johnson exchanges the bat for the catching gear, Counsell steps in and takes a strike. And Hershiser was continually pitching behind hitters in the first couple of innings. Not anymore. He's getting in front. Counsell walked his first time up and was thrown out on the back end of a play which began with Devon White doubling home Charles Johnson, but Counsell being cut down 9-4-2 as he tried to score. Now he's thrown out 4-3. Roberts to Thome.
Now 8 in a row now for Hershiser. Counsell pulling this pitch on the ground, little 4-3 ground out, and Devon White, who's had a very, very tough series, in there now against Hershiser. Here's a scouting report on him. Fastballs away. A lot of off-speed stuff, which he's chased in the series. A lot of changeups that he's gone after that have been out of the strike zone. Down and in, be careful with him in there. You can throw off speed down in there. Fastball down in there, he'll go get it. Hit a double. Back in the second.
Smacked that double hard to right center field his last time up.
He has always been a good low fastball hitter, but he's been missing his low fastballs until the second inning. He drilled it.
1-1. We might be asking, depending upon how this game goes, but as things are developing now, we may wonder whether Bip Roberts' relay throw on the ball hit by White was the turning point of this game. 1-2.
Well, I think it may have been because they had a big inning going. Devon White would have been at least at second base. He would have still been in scoring position with 3 runs in.
Since then, the Marlins haven't had a base runner. 2-2. In the meantime, the Indians have scored 4. All of them knocked home by Alomar, including his 3-run homer. And they lead it 4-2. In the first 2 innings, Hershiser yielded 5 hits and a walk. So if Counsell is safe, it's 3-0. As you say, the inning is still alive. White is at second. Who knows? Held him to 2-0. They haven't had a sniff off him since, and the Indians have come back with 4. Full count to Devon White.
Well, Hershiser started for the dugout. And take a look at this pitch. I mean, he starts for the dugout.
Ooh. And maybe he had every right to. The payoff. Tap to second. Roberts juggles it, recovers in time to get it. 9 in a row set down by Hershiser, who leads it 4-2.
Well, Devon White ripped the low fastball the first time up. This is a good sinker. He chops it, and he does hustle out of the box very well. Now watch right here. Bip Roberts bobbles it, picks it up, fires a strike, but he barely gets Devon White at first base. And Orel Hershiser, as he walks off, he says, "Yee-hoo!" Yeah, we got it. Yee-hoo! Yeah. I think he made the out call. Kaiser just kind of said, "Okay, Earl, you're right. Earl, you're right."
Well, at least we can see Kaiser tonight. Last night he was the masked bandito.
Yeah, he was all bundled up against the cold. Now he's sporting the goatee. We might mention that he's passed word that his mom, Annette, is not feeling well, and he wanted to send his best wishes to her. I'm sure she's watching the game. Matt Williams with a 1-0 count. Lines it hard and foul to left.
Well, Bob, I talked about the last inning being very important for Livan Hernandez. Well, he did a good job. He went out there and he got the Indians out 1, 2, 3, a fly ball, a ground out, and a line out. So he should feel better about himself and feel like he can take the Marlins into the 7th or 8th inning and keep this ball game close for them.
He's only allowed 4 hits in the game, Joe. He's walked 6, allowed only 4 hits, down by a pair.
Two balls and a strike.
When we saw him pitch against Atlanta, remember one thing, everything he was throwing was toward the outside corner, so he got locked in on that. A lot of times when you have to change, pitch away and then back in, out and in, that's when you lose command of your pitches.
2-2.
Good curveball that time from Hernandez. He's had a good one from time to time tonight. Another look at this. There it is. Watch the rotation on that breaking ball. Down low and away, and Williams went after it. He hung one on him the first pitch, and he hit it foul.
Full count. You don't see that many pitchers anymore throw the classic overhand curveball like Camilo Pascual did and Bert Blyleven did. Some do, but not as many. You have a theory as to why?
Yeah, the reason is it's tougher to control. It's tougher to throw it in the strike zone. The slider and is easier to throw for a strike, or at least start it in the strike zone and get the hitter to chase it.
The count is full to Williams. And a fastball is inside, not by much, but it's the 7th walk given up by Hernandez.
Well, you go back and look at that game that he pitched against Atlanta as you look at Jimmy Williams questioning that call by Randy Marsh. But you look at those pitches that he got in that series, or in that game, I should say, and it was very liberal. Tonight, not so.
For most of you, your late local news, then The Tonight Show. Robin Williams and Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers are on tonight with Jay. CNBC has the baseball postgame show with Keith and Hannah right after the last pitch. Here's Tomey. He's tripled and he's walked. And a strike to him. Is another factor in the diminishing importance of the curveball, the fact that it's the classic curveball, at least, is an up and down pitch, and the high strike isn't given to you anymore, whereas the slider is a lateral pitch, and you got a better chance of getting a wide interpretation of the plate.
Well, no doubt that's true. I agree with you there, because you do not get the high strike anymore. But another reason is with the slider, you have to react quickly. With the curveball, you just have to wait. With the slider, you have to wait and be quick. That's the key to hitting a slider. So a fastball, you're just quick. A curveball, you just have to wait. But the slider makes you do both.
Here's the 1-1. 1-2.
Well, that guy at Baltimore's got a pretty good overhand curve. Talking about Mike Mussina.
Throws the knuckle curve.
He throws a knuckle curve, but it's an overhand curve, and it drops in there, and it drops in there rather nicely. There are a couple of others who still throw that knuckle curve, and it's right over the top.
But he does not have that big hump that Bob's talking about, where it goes way up and then comes down, a la Juan Marichal.
Breaking ball down and in. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And even Livan Hernandez tonight, he's throwing 2 different types of breaking balls. He's throwing one, it's not really a slider, but it's in between a curve and a slider. It's a little harder than his overhand curveball, and it's breaking sideways a little bit more.
Trying to keep it close. Give his teammates a chance to come back from a 4-2 deficit in the 5th. His 2-2 pitch misses down and in, full count. The record for walks by one pitcher in a World Series game is 10 by Bill Bevins of the Yankees in 1947, a game in which he almost pitched a no-hitter.
Well, we've seen Hernandez in this situation before in postseason, and he's gone to a breaking ball. It wouldn't be surprising.
It is a breaking ball, and Thome rolls it foul. In that game between the Yankees and Dodgers in 1947, Bill Bevins, despite 10 walks, and I think he had allowed a run earlier in the game, was working on a no-hitter, which would have been the first in World Series history, before Cookie Lavagetto doubled to right as the game's last hitter brought home a couple of runs, and the Dodgers won the game. 9 years later, Don Larson was perfect. That's the first and only no-hitter or perfect game in the World Series. Another 3-2 pitch. Renteria has it, turns to Counsell for one. They don't get the double play, but Renteria ought to submit that on his application for a Gold Glove.
Nice play there by Renteria. You know, we've been impressed with Renteria, and Vizquel is just one of the great shortstops in baseball. This ball is drilled right up the middle, and I mean, this is an excellent play there by Renteria. The tough part is getting the ball to second base accurately. He does that, and Counsell tries to turn it, but he should have just taken the one. Just a nice play by Renteria. Make sure of one, and they do that. And Counsell tries to make an acrobatic throw, but couldn't get anything on it.
Now the amazing Alomar. He's singled and homered. Swings on the first pitch. Another chance for Renteria. 1, 2. And finally, they deal with Alomar. That closes out the Cleveland 5th and keeps it 4-2.
Today, instead of sitting by the window watching life go by, people are out there going the extra mile, pushing themselves beyond the norm. And no muscle ache will bring them down. No headache limit their imagination, because today we have an advanced medicine for pain called Advil. It's remarkable just how fast Advil works, right at the site of body pain, stopping it where it starts. The relief is glorious. Headaches to muscle aches. Advil relieves all kinds of pain for so many people. Advil simply lets people do what they love to do.
Must be a kind of blind love. I can't see anyone but you. I only have eyes.
Norman Feeney, Pepsi drinker for life. Pepsi, Generation Next.
The new Century offers the luxury of dual-zone climate control, which does exactly what the name says. So whoever's on the right can have it a few degrees cooler than whoever's on the left, or vice versa. There are many degrees of luxury in the new Century. Dual-zone climate control is just one. You'll also like its cool price.
Discover a little luxury in the Century.
A bizarre series of murders.
You don't know anybody who'd want him dead, do you?
The clues are even more bizarre.
That's what I saw.
The only possible conclusion...
Do you have any crosses in the house?
...is the impossible. Fighting crime has just become a monster. House of Frankenstein, Sunday Halloween weekend on NBC. Violent scenes, parental discretion advised.
This is not an easy adult play as you might think. See that tough hop that he gets, that in-between hop, he makes the play. Counsell comes across the bag and makes the throw. And I was surprised that that double play was still in order simply because they did not put the runner in motion when Thome was hitting, and that's why they were able to force the runner at second base, Matt Williams. You know, they've been more aggressive in this series, but in that case, they were waiting. I know Thome strikes out, but by the same token, Matt Williams can steal a base.
And it was a 3-2 pitch.
3-2 pitch.
Renteria will start it in the Marlins 6th, followed by Sheffield and Bonilla. Foul ball for strike one.
And Hernandez with a little better attitude as he got to the dugout. Jim Gray tells us he went up to Renteria and said, "Gracias, thank you very much." There he is, calmed down a little bit since his earlier tirade.
Williams scoops it up, but it's foul.
Well, Renteria chopped one earlier in this ball game. Now watch this. It stays fair for a long time. Then Matt Williams on the outside, making sure the umpire can see that that ball was foul.
So Hershiser, who has retired 9 consecutive Florida hitters, is ahead of Renteria 0-2 to open the 6th.
This is a situation if you're Florida. I mean, you just really hope that Renteria can figure a way to get on so that they will have to pitch to Sheffield, and he will maybe be a little more patient when he knows that he has a chance to tie the ball game.
1-2. Edgar had an infield hit his first time up and then grounded out. Struck him out.
Hershiser really pumped now. You saw him fire that one past Renteria, and watch his little reaction after this strike is thrown past him. Watch this. There's the foul ball. Bouncer up along third, foul. Off the outside corner, he missed. There's a high slider, and look at Hershiser. Bang, yes. Watch this reaction by Hershiser after the strikeout to Renteria. Watch this. Yes. Let's go. That's the Bulldog.
Does that help you throw?
I guess in some cases it does.
Sheffield singled up the middle, line to second.
As long as you don't let the hitter see it, Joe.
Right, exactly.
You turn around and start doing that to the hitters. Oh, yeah, really?
Well, some guys have.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there are guys that do that to the hitters, guys that blow on their fingers as if they're blowing on a 6-gun after a strikeout.
Joaquin Andahar used to do that. Dennis Eckersley, who's bound for the Hall of Fame. One of the great careers by a pitcher in recent history, is often very demonstrative, especially at the end of a game. 1-1 pitch hit toward the hole for the second base hit of the night for Gary Sheffield.
I'll tell you, he's really been on in this series, and again in situations where, as Joe just said a moment ago, he gets the strikeout to Renteria. It's a different story if he has to pitch Sheffield with a runner on. And here Gary with a single with one man out. But he is so quick, and we've talked about it and showed it throughout the whole series, the championship series and the World Series, the quickness of Sheffield and his ability to hit the ball to all fields.
Bonilla fouls it off. It got a piece of Alomar. It becomes obvious that Jim Leyland is going to stick with Bobby Bonilla no matter how much he's hobbling. Even in the 9th inning of Game 3, when the score was tied at 7, Bonilla drew a walk to open the inning, and you might say here's an ideal situation for a pinch runner. But no, he left him in, and as it happened, he was able to make it to third and score on the wild throw, what proved to be the go-ahead run. Some people say, why not DH him? Leyland says, no, I'm going to keep him in the field. That's where he feels most comfortable. Even with the injury, I'm going to let him play third base.
Well, the other problem, and Leyland says that he feels like he's okay, and he feels like he's running okay, and he feels like, hey, Bobby should be able to make the plays in the field. I think when you're the manager, you have to think about all the players on the team and decide whether one guy can hurt you if you put him in the field. And he's decided that he cannot.
2-1.
Well, there's nobody that knows Bobby Bonilla better than Jim Leyland, and I mean, he's had him for a long enough period of time that he knows when and why and where Bonilla should play, and he's in there. And he told us the other day that he and Bonilla sat after the game and talked about it. Bonilla told him, I want to play.
Hershiser falls behind 3-1. Of course, Bobby Bowe was with Jim Leyland in Pittsburgh on teams that came close to making it to the World Series but fell short in the LCS. Now reunited in Florida.
Well, Bobby Bowe has to make sure he gets a good pitch to hit here and don't go out of the strike zone. Yeah, good.
He takes it low.
That's the way you're supposed to approach hitting. He had a hole at first base, but don't go out of the strike zone. And the problem is that Orel Hershiser is not going to give in to you anytime. First pitch he had a pitch to hit, he fouls it. After that, he starts to nibble, and he tries to get Bonilla to chase something out of the strike zone, and Bonilla does not bite on this particular at bat.
So now the tying runs are on after Hershiser's second walk.
Well, Hershiser, we saw him after he struck out a hitter. Let's see how he is now. He's really upset with himself now because he walked a hitter.
And he must face the dangerous Dalton.
Hey, you say to yourself, he may have been, pitching around Bonilla because of the left-handed batting, but not with this guy coming up. I mean, he was after Bonilla, just didn't make the pitches.
Well, I tell you one thing, Darren Dalton's going to get a pitch to hit. He will be patient until he gets one.
That might have been it. He slices it to left. Coming on Giles. He makes the catch on the run.
Well, he got a pitch to hit. The pitch was up, and he hit it hard. He just did not find the hole.
Darren Dalton has hit the ball hard throughout this series. I mean, every time he's up there, even the foul balls he's hit, a pitch away from him went out that way, and a nice running catch by Brian Giles. Here it is again. Giles with a good jump on that ball makes a nice running catch to take a base hit away and possibly an RBI.
But what a story Dalton is. At age 35, after 9 knee surgeries, he was contemplating retirement. Seemed like it was the end of the line in Philadelphia. All of a sudden, new life in Florida, back in the World Series. Alou 0 for 2. But remember, he hit a 3-run homer off Hershiser in Game 1 at Pro Player Stadium.
Well,
2 men are on now as they trail 4-2.
To say, Bob, one of the 2 bad pitches that he's thrown to Alou so far tonight. He's basically stayed away with the breaking stuff. He got one up that time, and Alou fouled it back.
Livan Hernandez had a 2-0 lead. It got away, mostly courtesy of Sandy Alomar, an RBI single and a 3-run homer. He's also had problems with wildness, walking 7. Now he trails 4-2. The rookie beat the veteran in the opener. Hershiser trying to turn it around in Game 5. His 0-1 pitch to Alou. A ball and a strike. Here's the swing in Game 1. It hit the screen alongside the foul pole for a 3-run shot that snapped a 1-1 tie and started the Marlins on their way to the Game 1 victory. Sheffield is at second. Bonilla is at first. And with 2 out, ball 2 to Alou.
Well, it tells you he's keeping his front shoulder in just a little longer because he's not chasing those pitches out of the strike zone. When your front shoulder pulls out, your head also pulls out. And you think the pitch is a strike. But right now, so far in this at bat, he's been able to be a little more patient, keep the front shoulder in, and watch the ball.
2-1 pitch, hammered to center. Grissom going back, looking up, out of here. For the second time in this World Series, Moises Alou wallops a 3-run homer off Orel Hershiser. Hargrove's lead is gone. It's 5-4 Florida.
Bob, I could see the difference in his approach there. in this at-bat. He was keeping that front shoulder in. He gets a hanging breaking ball, and he drills it. Watch this. He goes right there. Look at that. Everything's perfect. Breaking ball out over the plate. He keeps the front shoulder in and hits it out. His first at-bats, he was just pulling off. But he was very patient there, keeping that front shoulder in, and I could see the approach was much different in this at-bat.
They knew it was gone when he hit it. Yep, that's John Cangelosi right there. Get up, get out of here, he said. There's Alou. He knew he got it. Yep, three-runner again against Hershiser.
Now Conine with a check swing foul. That is already the 14th home run in this World Series. The record for both teams combined is 17, 3 different times, all by the Yankees and Dodgers. 1953, 1955, 1977. Hit toward the hole for a base hit. In the 1977 series between the Yankees and Dodgers, Reggie Jackson, of course, had 5 of the 17, including 3 in the deciding 6th game. In 1955, Duke Snider hit 4 of them for the Dodgers as they beat the Yankees in 7. So these two teams have combined for 14, just 3 off the record.
Well, Mark Wiley, the Indians pitching coach, coming out to talk with Hershiser. He had retired 10 in order until the base hit by Sheffield, then the walk to Bonilla, and after 2 outs, all of the scoring happened. As you look at the Indians bullpen, Alvin Mormon, but Alou with that big shot. You knew he was in trouble when you watched Grissom turn and run back on that ball. He was looking up to play it off the wall immediately as it was hit. When he made his initial move, he thought it was going to at least hit the wall, but it went out.
Well, he had been getting him out with breaking balls, but his approach was much better in this at-bat. Kept the front shoulder in, and I mean, he really drilled that ball. And as you mentioned, Marquise Grissom knew it was a home run.
Yep, it was, Oral. High is right.
When Alou hit his 3-run homer in Game 1, Charles Johnson followed with a solo shot into the upper deck. Here they're separated by one hitter, Conine, who singled. The 0-1 to Johnson. And he hits it hard to left. It's not a home run, but it is a base hit. Giles with a good play to cut it off. And that stops Conine at second.
Well, Hershiser is already in trouble because he is behind in this ball game, and now he's in trouble, in danger of really getting behind, because Counsell has been swinging the bat well, and I think this is a visit just to make sure that they have more time to get ready in the bullpen, simply because you mentioned it was 2 outs when this all started.
Well, Hargrove called out there to make sure Mormon was indeed ready, and here he comes, I believe. Yep. Hershiser is gone once again.
Just moments ago, it looked like Hershiser was going to turn the tables on Livan Hernandez and record his 9th postseason victory and his first this year. But Alou connects for the home run that turns a 4-2 Marlin deficit into a 5-4 lead. Conine and Johnson follow with singles, and Hershiser is finished. He gets an appreciative ovation from the Jacobs Field crowd as he walks off. But there are louder cheers in the Marlin dugout. He's 39 years old and a free agent after this season. Is tonight the last time we'll ever see Orel Hershiser in the World Series?
Well, he said he wants to come back here and finish his career in Cleveland, Bob. Whether that's going to happen this year or not, he really wants to come back here. He wants to re-sign with the Indians. He said he enjoys it here. He feels it's a club that has a chance to get to the postseason again, and it wouldn't be surprising to see him back here.
Alvin Mormon, the former Astro, 28-year-old North Carolinian, inherits this situation. Conine at second, Johnson at first, 3 runs home on the Alou homer. He's trying to keep it a 1-run game, facing Counsell with 2 out. Ball 1.
Craig Counsell has also handled the left-handed pitching that the Indians have thrown at him very well too. He hit 299 during the regular season, so this shouldn't be a surprise that he's a pretty good hitter.
The count.
Mike Hargrove told us the other day the one thing that surprised him about Counsell was the fact that he was more of a pull hitter than they had received on the scouting reports. That's the thing that surprised him. This guy will take an inside breaking ball from a left-hander and pull it down the right field line.
Fouled that one off his foot.
Well, he does it often. That's why he has that shin guard on. He takes that inside pitch. When you hit from an open stance like that, you will hit a lot of balls down on your front foot. Now watch where the bat contacts the ball, right out in front, so it's right down on your foot.
He hit that ball off his kneecap, I think.
Well,
that's what it looked like.
Definitely hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But I think one of the reasons he's pulled the ball more in this series, Bob, than he would during the regular season is the way they're pitching him. They're throwing him fastballs in, and the left-handers are throwing him curveballs. So you're going to pull those pitches if they keep the ball in on you like that.
Well, if you get that hanging curveball inside, you're right. Yeah, absolutely. There you see.
Well, he only had, you know, like 42 hits, so and 20 of them went to right field. But you can see that he does hit the ball pretty much all over, but they're pitching him in, so it's causing him to pull the ball. I mean, he looks like I said, he's a pretty smart hitter. He knows they're pitching him in, so he's turning.
Three and one.
See, all the pitchers are in, and I think they're pitching him in because they felt like that he wasn't a pull hitter, so they're going to try to jam him and keep him from spraying the ball around, but he's been turning on the pitches.
Well, they play him as a left field hitter, with the exception of Ramirez in right. There's a big gap in right center, and pitch him inside.
He walks him to load the bases. And now Devon White will be the 9th man to hit in the inning. Hargrove heading out. Mormon faced just the one man. It's generally thought that White is a more dangerous hitter these days left-handed than right. So if he goes to Plunk, in that sense, he's going against conventional wisdom. Plunk also has a postseason earned run average of 13.5.
But he also has a history of not, you know, having the greatest of control when he's come in, although he did a great job in Game 3 when he came in. He pitched very tough to Gary Sheffield.
They will go to Plunk. Mormon faces just one hitter. Alou, a happy man in the Florida dugout.
Come on, Nick, all right.
Moments ago in the Florida dugout, Tony Saunders, Bobby Bonilla, Alou, they're all happy, but few are happier than Livan Hernandez, who comes over and says, muchos gracias this time. Now I'm in front with a chance for the win.
Well, not only that, I mean, he looks a lot more composed now. I mean, even after he gave up the runs, he went in, he seemed like he sat down and thought about the problems he was having. He seems to have straightened them out because he's pitched very well since the 3rd inning.
3-run homers are very composing.
But I mean, he's been sitting like this, a little less expression, than he had before. The key thing here is if Plunk can come in and throw strikes.
Well, they booed him when he came out of the bullpen, Joe. He's had some problems here, and he's been wild. They've taken the split finger away from him because he's had problems with that, and he gave up a couple of runs the other night, and the fans were upset at him.
So he faces White, who was 1 for 3 against Hershiser. Starts him with a breaking ball that misses. White was hitting just 167 in the series entering this game.
And remember, it's only a 5-4 lead, so those runs out there are very important for the Marlins.
That's a strike, 1-1. Plunk is a veteran, 34 years old, big guy, 6'6".
Always been a hard thrower. He's always had a good curveball.
And he's always been wild. Fastball high.
He went through a couple of years, Bob, where he was really one of the premier pitchers in the American League, and as a setup guy for Jose Mesa a couple of years ago, he was perfect. He was almost perfect. I mean, every time he came in the 8th, bang, bang, shut the door, and then Mesa for the 9th.
Three balls and a strike, the very thing Mike Hargrove had to fear when he decided to go to Plunk.
Well, he got away with it in game 1 here, well, in game 3, when he brought him in to pitch to Sheffield with the bases loaded, and he was able to get out of the jam.
White can be sitting on one here. He swings and fouls it off.
Well, he got a pitch to hit. He just did not hit it. Fastball down and in the middle of the plate. Fastball right there. Look at that. That pitch is exactly where you would like it. But he could not catch up with it. 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Pretty straight, but it had a lot of pace on it.
Now Conine from third, Johnson from second, and Counsell from first will be running. And Plunk steps off.
Key here is if you're Devon White, do not go out of the strike zone. If he doesn't get it to you in the middle of the plate, you have to let it go.
There they go, and here it comes. He walks in the 6th run for Florida.
And the same thing I mentioned the other night. It's a tough situation for Plunk to come into. I mean, he's just not a control pitcher. Breaking ball for a ball, fastball for a strike, high fastball for 2-1, another high fastball, fastball in the middle, and this sinker is low and away.
That'll get you up every time. That 3-2 fastball down and away, forcing in a run.
Renteria, who began this inning, innocently enough, by striking out.
Before this thing gets out of hand, I mean, Plunk has really got to settle down here. Mike Hargrove has talked to us about Plunk from time to time. He can be utterly devastating. I mean, coming in and really throwing hard, throwing strikes, and doing the job. Mark Wiley again on the phone to the bullpen. They're going to get somebody up again, but for the most part, Hargrove said toward the end here, he's really had problems with his control, and he's shown it again here tonight. Important thing, I mean, is to try and get ahead for Plunk. I mean, he's had the problem with control to throw a fastball and get ahead. As you look at Jeff Juden getting ready in the Indians bullpen now, instead of that breaking ball, he's done it twice on 2 hitters, starting them off with curves in the dirt to get behind 1-0.
One and 2 to Renteria, who's 1 for 3 on the night.
I mean, if you throw strikes, you've got a chance to have somebody make a play behind you. Not to say that a hitter isn't going to get a base hit, but at least you're not going to walk him. You're going to give somebody a chance to make a play.
And Renteria strikes out. But they score 4 times on 4 hits, one of them the Alou homer. There were also 3 walks, and the Marlins are back in front by 2.
Important for the Indians because they have hopefully 2 more games in their mind. And then you see that Orel Hershiser waits for Eric Plunk to say, hey, you did all right. I put you in that jam, but you got us out of it. Okay, and then he goes upstairs. He waited for him to make sure that he made that endorsement and gave him, you know, a pat on the back. And I think that's important because even if they lose tonight's game, they're hoping they would have 2 more ball games. And team camaraderie is very important.
Talking about those final 2 games in Florida, Mike Hargrove told us tonight, don't be surprised if it goes 7 to see Jared Wright back in there pitching on Sunday.
From a personal standpoint, I think it's important for the Marlins to win this ball game with Kevin Brown scheduled to go in game 6, because in game 7 they could be in trouble with some of their other starters, because only Kevin Brown is the one that they feel like they know they can depend on at this point.
Game 6 scheduled starters on Saturday, Chad Ogea and Kevin Brown. Ogea beat Brown in Game 2. Then we'll see what happens if there is a Game 7. Ball 1 to Brian Giles. The Indians trail by 2 again as they bat in the bottom of the 6th. NBC News tells us that while Television Marti from the United States has made the telecast of tonight's game available in Cuba, the transmission has been blocked. However, Radio Marti is getting through to the island. So it's possible, in fact likely, that many members of Livan Hernandez's family are following this game on the radio.
And I think we have to give him a pat on the back, because at the end of the 3rd inning, everything looked like it was coming apart. And he pulled himself together in the 4th and the 5th, and he has pitched well.
They check down at 3rd, and goodbye, Brian Giles. Punched out by Dale Ford.
Here's that last high fastball by Hernandez. Check the swing on Giles. Watch this. Well, it was close, and it looked from that angle like he went around. There it is, the high outside fastball. Giles trying to check his swing. Home plate umpire Randy Marsh checking 3rd. Yep. That makes him happy in the Marlins dugout. And you're right, Joe. I mean, this guy has come back. He's still throwing well despite an early tantrum. It settled him down, and he's still in there here in the 6th.
But unlike the game he pitched in Florida against Atlanta, that's only his 2nd strikeout of this ball game.
And he's walked 7. Grissom skies one to center. Devon White. That's the 2nd out. An NBC original event coming Halloween weekend. As you know by now, it's 3 Legends of Evil. They're coming alive in L.A.
Get out of there. There's somebody coming.
House of Frankenstein 1997, an NBC original event, November 2nd. Bip Roberts walked twice, lined out. It is always so frightening when a human being is suddenly transformed into a dog.
Oh, especially if they're trick-or-treating, buddy. Here, take everything I got.
Let's go to Keith Olbermann. What can he add?
Report on flu conditions down here.
Well.
Bip Roberts is really scuffling out there. He has been tugging at the neck of his turtleneck for the last couple of innings and having trouble swallowing. And as many of us do at this time of year, experiencing the great pain that is provided by the throat elements of a flu.
It's one to the opposite field, and Moises Alou is there to take it. Out in order are the Indians in the 6th. Then it remains 6-4 Florida. Well, the Indian pitchers keep getting bigger. From the 6'6" Eric Plunk to the 6'8" Jeff Juden. And he also tips the Toledos at 265. He was 11-5 this year for the Expos before being picked up near the deadline to be eligible for the postseason by the Indians. First man he'll face as we go to the 7th is Gary Sheffield, followed by Bonilla and Dalton. Sheffield has a pair of singles tonight. His hit in the last inning started the 4-run rally. He was aboard when Alou homered to center. Ball 1.
Well, the scouting report on Gary Sheffield, we've talked about him throughout the series. Great fastball hitter, breaking balls down low and away, and change speeds on him. You've chased fastballs up and in from time to time, like that one.
Center field Grissom going back to the track in front of the 405 sign for the catch.
And I tell you what, he just missed that high fastball.
Yes, he did.
This is a high fastball from Juden, and he just barely gets under it. This shows you why it's so difficult to hit. Look at that. I mean, he just a quarter of an inch more on the ball, and that ball's out of the ballpark. I mean, that was hit a long way, and he didn't get all of it.
Ball 1 to Bonilla, who's 0 for 2 with a walk. Bonilla's under 200 in this World Series. 245 overall, as you see in the playoffs plus World Series. Fastball thrown by him, 1-2. He gets under it and lifts it to right. Ramirez into right center to take it. Saturday, we take off the coats and head south to Florida for Game 6 of the World Series. 7:30 Eastern Time, 4:30 Pacific from Pro Player Stadium. The Indians are scheduled to use Chad O.J. against the Marlins' Kevin Brown. Game 6 of the World Series, Saturday in Florida, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on NBC.
Joe, what are you going to do with those fleece-lined boots you picked up here? They're going to look real nice in Miami and Fort Lauderdale.
Should be about 30 degrees warmer than that.
I'm ready for it.
Dalton pops one wide of first. Let's see if it stays in for Thome. Looks like it will. And it's stretch time at Jacobs Field. Up come the Indians in the bottom of the 7th, trailing 6-4.
1997 World Series is brought to you by Pepsi, who invites you to join Generation Next. By Mazda. Come see what happens when a car company has more engineers and fewer accountants. Mazda. By Oracle, the company that's enabling the information age through network computing. And by Fidelity Investments, where 12 million investors put their trust.
At the controls of the Goodyear Blimp Spirit of Akron tonight is Captain Mark Kynette. The 200-foot dirigible is stationed 30 miles south at Goodyear corporate headquarters in Akron. Very pretty downtown ballpark, Jacobs Field, part of the rejuvenation of Cleveland over the past several years.
I'm looking at Counsell. He's playing awfully deep for somebody like Vizquel, who does bunt. You know, he's playing back on the outfield grass.
Bonilla in close at third, meanwhile, as we start the bottom of the 7th with a called strike.
But if you drag the ball to the right side, there's no way Counsell can make the play.
It looks like Hernandez and Johnson going to try and stay away on him here.
1-1. Dennis Cook, the Game 3 winner. So effective whenever he's been called upon in this postseason. Getting ready. Hit to Counsell. He has time, and he has Vizquel. A reminder that coming up in most of the country after the game, it'll be the late local news and then the Tonight Show. But baseball fans who want more on the post-game show can tune to CNBC immediately following the last pitch. Keith Olbermann and Hannah Storm will host it. Ramirez has grounded out 3 times tonight.
Well, he's made great pitches on him all 3 times by jamming him on the inside part of the plate.
Counsell has it come up on him, and it just ate him up. A wicked hop, and Ramirez is on.
I told you, use a very heavy bat, and they've been jamming him inside. Now he gets this ball out over the plate. Watch this. The pitch is out over the plate, and I mean, he just drills it. See how he extends his arms on it right there? When he does that, I mean, he hits the ball hard, and Counsell, no chance. He tried to flag it as it was going through, but no chance to do much with that one. I was telling you, Uke, the other day, Richie Allen hit a ball like that at me, and I was lucky it bounced over my head. I mean, that was a bullet right there. No chance for Counsell to do anything with that.
That's sometimes what they describe as a head case. Boy, that ball was hit hard.
It's the Indians' 5th hit, but their first since the 3rd inning. Justice hit 33 home runs during the regular season. Just 1 in the postseason.
And this is where Levon got in trouble in the 3rd inning. He started slowing his pace down. He's been working very quickly.
He's really done a pretty good job on Justice tonight. The only ball he really hit hard was back in the 4th when he lined to Dalton, or to Conine, I should say. But other than that, he's done a good job. He stayed down and away. He struck him out.
Justice seeing him, though, for the 4th time tonight. He's a patient hitter who knows how to work a count and look for his pitch. Here comes the 2-0. Off-speed breaking ball for a strike.
And that's what he's done really well with Justice tonight. He's thrown him curveballs tonight and really kept David off stride. When he hit that line drive, he waited back on a curve and lined it to Conine. But this is a nice curveball off the inside corner. Justice already into his stride and couldn't pull the trigger, had to take it.
Here's his 2-1 pitch. Another one and a beauty. 2-2.
Right down Main Street. And again, Justice looking. And as Joe said just a moment ago, Hernandez really starting to settle in now. Here's that curveball again, right down the middle, and David can't pull the trigger.
Well, he's throwing him breaking balls on fastball count. See if he throws him a fastball on a breaking ball count.
Another breaking ball hit back to him. To second for 1. Renteria to first. And a double play. Levon Hernandez keeping his cool in the 7th and clinging to a 2-run lead.
Out at the ground, now he looks up, picks up the target. And this is where, as Bob Costa said, he kept his composure. Right there, he takes the crow hop, turns and throws to second base. Starts to double play, and he gets out of the inning. A lot of times a pitcher will grab that ball, just turn and fire it. He made a good play there.
They turn and fire, and there's nobody there yet, Joe. You don't give that guy that shortstop time to get to the bag.
Juden to Alou in the 8th. Fastball for a strike. Alou's last swing turned this game around, trailing 4-2, and with 2 out and 2 on, he homers to center off Hershiser in the 6th. That made it 5-4. They tacked on another run before the inning was over, and that's where we stand now, 6-4. Juden worked a perfect 7th. Now in the 8th, he gets ahead of Alou 1-2. In the bottom half of the inning, the scheduled hitters are Williams, Thome, and Alomar. Check swing. Juden has it. Pegs to first. Just in time, or did he pull him off? Safe. Safe. I thought Juden took his own sweet time about throwing that ball to first base.
Well, he did. He took a long time to throw it.
Ken Kaiser telling Jim Thome that he came off the bag. Juden didn't get to that ball in a hurry either. And again, after he did get to it, realizing, look at Alou, give credit to Alou, busting down the line. There's the play, very close anyway. And Kenny Kaiser saying that Thome may have come off the bag. Here's the throw by Juden. And Thome, I'll tell you what, he's on the bag. And unless Alou beat the throw, it should have been an out. Here it is one more time. There's the catch. He's got the bag, it looked like from that angle. Alou called safe by Kenny Kaiser. Mike Hargrove heading back to the dugout now. One more time. Thome appears to be on the bag. There's the catch. And Kenny Kaiser saw him as safe. No matter what we say here or what it looks like, Kaiser saw him safe. So an infield hit for Alou.
Hargrove has had his say, and Conine steps in. Ball 1 to him. He singled following a Lou's homer in the 6th, and eventually scored the 6th run of this ball game for Florida, and the 4th in that inning, when Devon White walked with the bases loaded. Alou breaks for second. Alomar throws from his knees, and Alou steals it.
Well, he caught Alomar off guard, and he definitely caught Juden off. And he injured himself. That's the tough part about going in head first. Now watch this pitch. Alomar caught down in his crouch. He wasn't ready to throw, so he has to throw from his knees. Bip Roberts makes the tag, but you can see he's on the bag. But Bip Roberts said he slid off the bag.
Hell, Alomar does this from time to time. He'll throw from his knees. A la Benito Santiago. He's the guy that I remember doing that first, or Tony Pena. But here again is the catch at second base, and you can see Alou is in there and goes into the knee. Goes into the knee of Bip Roberts. There it is one more time. Roberts with the knee, and again, Alou almost looked like he came off the bag after he went on top of the bag. He did come off the bag. He did come off the bag and should have been out. Roberts held the tag on him. But Alou is in there at second with a stolen base.
Conine bounces it to Thome. He goes to the bag to record the out. But moving to third is Alou.
Take a look at this play at second base again. There's Alou's slide. He's in there right now. He's safe. Now comes off the bag. Right there. He's off the bag. Roberts has the tag on him, and he should have been out. Should have been out. Break for the Marlins on that play.
And the Indians are forced to bring the infield in with Charles Johnson at the plate and one out.
Good job there by Conine, hitting the ball to the right side to move him over to third.
And now Johnson lines it over the drawn-in infield for a very important run. And one that has to have Indian fans seething. A questionable call at first allowed Alou to reach. Then he steals second and might have been off the bag and could have been erased there. After the grounder moves him up, then a base hit plates him. Well, it's perhaps reminiscent of this, but this situation was more crucial because it was the 9th inning. It was the 9th inning of what could have been the clinching game for the Cardinals in '85. George Orta bouncing it down to Jack Clark, and the throw to Todd Worrell clearly beat him. Now we flash ahead to Game 7, which was won the next night by Brett Saberhagen, embracing George Brett there. And the Cardinals, who appeared to have the World Series wrapped up, lose to Dick Hauser's Kansas City Royals after a missed call at first. This one wasn't nearly that egregious, but it did help Florida. Hargrove has to go to his bullpen again, and it's a 3-run Marlin lead. The 36-year-old veteran Paul Assenmacher comes in to face counsel with a big run home in the Florida 8th, and Johnson at first with one out. It's 7-4 Marlins. Moves him away.
That's what's interesting is they talk about counsel spraying the ball around, but every pitch they're throwing him is on the inside part of the plate. He's going to have to pull it.
They really do try to jam this guy, and Assenmacher with an inside fastball. Assenmacher's got a very, very big curveball. Big sweeping curveball.
Paul Assenmacher has made 760 career appearances, all but one of them in relief. His specialty is getting left-handed hitters out in late inning situations. Two and 0 to counsel. Alou was shaken up when Bip Roberts' knee bent his head back. So now he gets some smelling salts in the dugout.
That'll snap you out of it real quick. That stuff really has got a bite to it.
A report from Jim Gray doing a good job down there along with Keith Olbermann as they man the dugouts. is that he slightly strained his neck after the impact, but he will remain in the game. 2-2 to Counsell.
Well, Assenmacher, who we said has a very, very big curveball, has come 4 times with fastballs on Counsell. And again, as we said, this guy, despite the fact that he's up there against left-handers from time to time, still gets out in front and pulls the ball, but they play him to hit to left field.
Full count. As we look at the gap in right center field, if Counsell hits one in that direction, he and Johnson, the runner at first, can run all night. He pops it out of play. Might have broken his bat. He's checking.
I don't think he hit it hard enough.
Again, Assenmacher, who, as I said, has got that big curveball. I mean, really a nasty curveball for a left-hander to handle, has stayed away from it. There's Alou. Straightening himself out. He'll be ready to go again.
Three-2 pitch, lifted foul in the seats.
It almost becomes a batting practice game here when you're sitting on a 3-2 pitch and you're getting fastballs. All you're trying to do is get the bat on the ball and make contact. Counsell got out in front. That time he looked like he was really trying to turn one around on Assenmacher.
Another 3-2 pitch. Hammered foul.
There's Livan Hernandez. I mean, this is what he's been doing since the 3rd inning. After he threw that tantrum, he's been sitting there very calm, very composed.
He could be on the other side of that glass, Joe, and look just about the same, just like everybody else down there.
No, they have not been running Charles Johnson in this situation so far.
Not going, and another foul ball.
I think one of the reasons he's getting a lot of fastballs is because he has proven that he doesn't chase a lot of breaking balls in the dirt. And if you're going to throw a 3-2 breaking ball, you're going to have to throw a strike with it. You're not going to get any help from the hitter. And that's why he's throwing all these fastballs.
Well, Assenmacher got behind him and couldn't afford to throw a breaking ball early. Started him off 2-0.
And finally strikes him out.
And he threw a strike with it. That was a beautiful breaking ball there from Assenmacher. But he had to throw a strike with it, and he did. Well, after fouling off fastballs in, he starts this breaking ball out over the middle of the plate, and it moves off. I mean, this is a good pitch from Assenmacher. It's up enough that it looks like it's going to be a strike. Just can't catch up with it.
Devon White.
That's when Assenmacher is at his best, when he can throw that breaking ball. It's a very sharp curveball. Down and into a right-hander as he just did on Devon White.
Two out in the 8th. And an 0-2 count to White, who broke out of his slump, at least to some extent, with an RBI double in the 2nd. Also walked with the bases loaded to pick up an RBI in the 6th. Check swing foul. Down and in, 1-2.
Sandy Alomar, who's done it on a couple of occasions tonight, Again here with Assenmacher. There's that low breaking ball. Inside, he got his body. Really a nice shift by Alomar to get inside and knock that one down.
Alomar has caught every inning of this World Series. His backup is Pat Borders, who was the MVP of the 1992 World Series for Toronto.
Wants a fastball up. Not that far up, but that's what he wanted. You saw him indicate to Assenmacher, fastball and then upstairs. Watch. Take a look in here at Alomar. Well, here's the pitch. He wanted it upstairs. He wanted a high fastball. That one's way high and off the outside corner.
The 2-2 pitch. Sharply hit, and Williams can't get it. Johnson on his way to second. Has to run an obstacle course around Vizquel to make it to third. Now the throw gets away. Assenmacher slides to his knees to contain it. And there are runners at second and third.
Well, I think Jim Leyland should be out there arguing on this play, because coming around second base, Charles Johnson was bumped by Bip Roberts.
You know, the umpire pointed, Joe, immediately. He pointed to Roberts at second base. I don't know if he was pointing that Johnson could have avoided him or if Roberts was guilty of interference. One more time. There's the pickup by Giles. Take a look at Charles Johnson.
Well, Johnson doesn't have to avoid him. I mean, he's running the bases. Bip Roberts has to get out of the way. You can't block the base pass without the ball or without a play being made there.
I misspoke. At first I said it was Vizquel. Obviously it was Roberts. Runners at second and third for Renteria.
The umpire was pointing to say that if he was out at third base, he was going to be able to
interference.
Yeah, it would give him third base.
But since everybody arrived safely, no harm, no foul. Devon White has a pair of doubles tonight.
And he has done a good job of hitting the ball hard. He got some pitches to hit, and he's been able to perform.
So Jim Leyland's
smarter than all of us. That's why he's a manager.
His decision to keep him in there paid off.
He wouldn't have 2 hits for me tonight.
He'd be riding Pine. A ball and 2 strikes.
Eddie Kaiser just made that last call on that check swing by Renteria.
And he lays off 2-2. Edgar had an infield single his first time up. Hitless at his next 3 at-bats. He struck out to both start and finish the 6th, but in between, the Marlins scored 4. Biggest inning of the night. And this time he hits it well to left. Giles going back. Giles to the fence for the catch. But a big insurance run comes across in the Florida 8th. Statistical proof of what is obvious. When the series is tied 2-2, Game 5 is pivotal. On the other hand, if the Indians don't come back, their situation is not hopeless. 6 times in baseball history, a team has gone on the road for Games 6 and 7 while trailing 3-2 and still gone on to win the World Series.
Well, a story once again for the Marlins. Livan Hernandez, who was shaky early, settled himself down, and here he is pitching in the 8th inning with a 3-run cushion.
Facing Matt Williams, who's grounded out and walked twice.
You guys said it, the 3rd inning, we'd find out what Livan Hernandez was made of. I think he's proven that he's a tough individual. And Jim Leyland knew that, and that's why he left him in, because even after the home run, he walked the next hitter and gave up a base hit, so he was still in trouble after he had given up the 4 runs. But Jim Leyland stuck with him, knowing what kind of person he was, and he's responded.
He's walked 7, but none since he walked Williams as the leadoff man in the 5th.
He was just out there running between starts, too. Getting that in.
Pumping his legs, trying to shake off the cold. Hit sharply through the middle. Coming on is White, but he has to short hop it. And Williams has a leadoff single.
Well, a dangerous play by Devon White, but he stopped it. Normally, to play things safe, you take this one on the first hop. He had made the commitment. He made the charge on the ball and was lucky to knock it down. Here it is again. He's coming on. He can't catch this ball. Matter of fact, that's not even a short hop. That's that in-between hop. But Devon White smothers it and holds Williams to a single. If that gets by him, it's run all day long.
Well, he did have his entire body in front of it, so it probably would have hit him someplace. That's a good job there by Devon.
Thome nearly had a home run when he tripled in the second, high off the wall in center field. Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach, to the phone.
Well, that extra run they got in the top of the inning has kept him in the ball game at this point.
Otherwise, Thome would be the tying run at the plate. Dennis Cook, the left-hander, was throwing earlier, joined now by the young right-hander Jay Powell. If they get to the ninth, it's time for Rob Nen. In the air to left, backing up is Alou, nearly to the fence for the catch. Williams retreats to first.
Well, a good pitch by Hernandez that time. A low outside fastball, and that's Thome's only shot right there. If he's going to take a hack at this ball, he's got to try to go the other way. He did. He stayed right on that ball, tried to hit it the other way, did, but came up short as Alou caught it on the warning track and left. But a good pitch by Hernandez. Yep, easy play. No problemo.
Alomar 2 for 3, including a home run. He has 10 RBIs already in this World Series, 2 off Bobby Richardson's all-time World Series record, established in 1960. Pardon me. During that wild World Series between the Yankees and the Pirates. His dad looking on. Renteria backhands it, throws to second, and they get the force on another glittering play by the Marlins shortstop.
Well, he and Vizquel are showing you how the position is supposed to be played. He's made the plays to his left and to his right. A lot of players can go one way to their glove side. He goes to the backhand side, backhands it, takes a step and fires a strike to Counsell at second base. And we've seen Vizquel do the same thing. They have range all over the place. They go in the hole, they go up the middle. Just 2 excellent shortstops. Nice play there.
Now Giles trying to keep the inning alive. And if he does, Grissom would come to the plate as the tying run. A ball and a strike. It's a long way for Livan Hernandez from the Estadio Latino Americano in Havana to the World Series, Game 5 in Cleveland. And he's on the verge of doing what his countryman Luis Tiant did for the Red Sox in 1975 against your Cincinnati Reds, win 2 games in the World Series.
You had to remind me of that, huh?
Well,
I was the last out.
You came out on top in the end in 7 games.
Well, he's gone 3-1 now on curveballs. Stayed right with it. Here's that last one. His curveball's starting to hang a little bit. Doesn't have that real sharp break on it. Falling behind now. 3-1 on Giles.
Full count. As we mentioned earlier, we believe that baseball fans in Havana and elsewhere in Cuba are able to pick up this game live on radio, but the television transmission has been jammed. At least so we're told. To guess that Giles was going to be his last hitter. If he retired him, they'd bring Nen on for the ninth. If he lets him reach, which he does, Then Grissom becomes the tying run at the plate. But as we watch the pitch sequence that eventually leads to the walk to Giles, there's no one coming out of the dugout, so they may let him work to Marquise Grissom.
We've heard about, when we talk to Jim Leyland, he doesn't like to bring certain pitchers in at certain times of the ball game. So he wants to let Levon work through the 8th and try to bring Nin in the 9th. He doesn't like to bring Nin in with runners in scoring position like this in the 8th inning. He likes to give him a fresh start in the 9th.
If this were a left-handed hitter, I'm pretty sure he'd go to Cook. Well, he might not go to Powell, the young right-hander, to face Grissom here.
Well, I thought he was going to go to Cook when Tomey was up there, so.
Oh, 1 pitch grounded to short. Renteria to Counsell. They leave 2. They're down to their last 3 outs, trailing by 3 in Game 5.
The 1997 World Series is brought to you by Burger King, where you can get your burger's worth. By Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. By the United States Postal Service, we deliver. And by Zantac 75, the final word in heartburn relief.
On to the 9th at Jacobs Field. Mike Hargrove would prefer to use Jose Mesa to close the game. Here he has to ask him just to keep it close, or reasonably so. They trail 7-4. Sheffield, Bonilla, and the DH Dalton, the 3, 4, and 5 hitters in Jim Leyland's lineup, are due in the 9th. Sheffield has hit the ball hard every time up. 2 singles, a line out to second, and a deep fly to center. Swings on the first pitch, pops it to the left side, where 2 Gold Glovers reside for Cleveland, and Vizquel takes it.
Well, I guess we have to wonder whether Hernandez is going to go out there for the 9th inning. He's still sitting there like he's in the ball game. And no one congratulated him, and nothing really happening out there. So it looks like he's going to start the 9th and try to finish it.
So much for our speculation to the contrary.
Well, Jim Leyland told us about this guy. He said, hey, you know, this guy doesn't surprise me at all. There are games when he's shown that he's starting to weaken a little bit. I go out and talk to him, or have Rothschild go out and talk to him. He settles himself down and back in there throwing again bullets and great breaking ball.
Well, with just the slimmest of leads at 2-1 in Game 5 against Atlanta at Pro Player Stadium, he did not go to Nen. He let Hernandez finish the game, which he did with a flourish with his 15th strikeout on Fred McGriff.
And then Game 6 against Atlanta, he left Kevin Brown out there in a situation where they could tie the ball game.
Well, Jose Mesa on here. Similar to Plunk, he's another guy that's gotten rid of that split-fingered fastball. It was a big part of his repertoire a couple of years ago. Basically now fastball slider.
Jim Leyland, as we've mentioned before, has been known to not only ignore the book, but almost rip it up and throw it away. In Game 6 of the 1990 NLCS, when he was managing the Pirates, he started reliever Ted Power against the Reds to try and disrupt their platooning, then pulled him in the 3rd for Zane Smith, an unconventional move. They lost the game 2-1. He didn't pull Power because he was being hammered. He was just trying to turn their lineup around, bringing in the left-hander Smith.
He doesn't think it's unconventional, though. He says, I do it gut feeling. I don't read books. I don't go by situations. I do gut stuff.
Bonilla's shot is right on the line. It kicks up chalk. He rounds first as Ramirez goes after it, and he chugs into second. Really laboring as he gets there with a double.
Well, Jim Leyland insists that he's okay.
They're asking Bobby Bonilla if he wants to come out of the game. Here it is again. This pitch ripped by Bonilla, and that ball hit right on the line, and now Ken Kaiser with a bit of a delayed call. Bobby Bonilla out of the box. He's limping when he leaves. Around first, he would have had an easy double, but laboring going into second base. A good throw may have him. But he's coming out for a pinch runner finally for the first time.
And it will be Alex Arias who'll stay in the game and play third base in the bottom of the ninth. So Bonilla leaves after doubling. And Dalton has a chance for an RBI. Called strike. Mesa delivers on 0-1. Inside to Dutch Dalton. In the bottom of the ninth, it'll be the top of the order for Cleveland. Roberts, Vizquel, and Ramirez. Mesa trying to keep it close enough to give his teammates some kind of chance. And Dalton with a line drive to right. Ramirez diving. Can't come up with it. But Arias had to hold between second and third because he wasn't sure. So on a single by Dalton, the Marlins have runners at first and third with one out.
Great play there by Ramirez. We've seen him playing the outfield very well in this series. Now watch, I mean, he gets a great jump on it. This ball is hooking and diving away from him. Look at that. I mean, he does a lot. He goes for it. He's not able to come up with it, but a good effort there by Ramirez. And he also was able to trap the ball. But Arias is second base. He can't take off right away because he's just not sure. He does the right thing. He goes halfway. And he's only able to move up one base.
Moises Alou, whose sixth inning three-run homer may turn out to be the biggest swing of this World Series. Lines this one to center field. He's got another RBI. In comes Arias, making it 8-4.
That was a low fastball from Jose Mesa. And Alou just dropped the barrel into that bat on that ball and lines it to center. Mark Wiley coming out to talk with Jose Mesa. Here it is again. This is the second time that we've seen Mesa get nailed like this. Here it is again. That ball down around the knees. And Felipe Alou, I should say.
Well,
Moises Alou, yeah. Moises with a line drive to center. That ball handcuffed Grissom, who was hit so hard. I'm sure Felipe is watching tonight again, Joe. Former teammate. But when Mesa came in the other day, he was hit hard too. And
hey, Uke, I've got a guy. I want to ask you a question. You remember when you were doing Mr. Belvedere?
Yeah.
You'd have all these extras coming in?
Yeah.
Jared Wright was an extra on your show.
Was.
How quickly you've forgotten.
No, I told him. We talked about that yesterday.
Well, you didn't tell us.
Oh, well, I didn't. You guys didn't bring it up, you know.
Had to be about 10, 11 years old, right?
Well, yeah, he was just a kid, and he's still looking for the payday.
Look at Darren Dalton. I mean, he is just adventurous.
What about that? Darren Dalton steals third. A man who was going to retire has had 9 knee surgeries. He hit 8 triples this year. Now he steals third base when they fall asleep and let him get a big lead.
Well, I think he wants to prove that he should be in there Saturday at Pro Players Park. He says, I can run. And he actually has scored more runs in this series than any of the Marlins players. So he's done a good job.
I tell you what, he's hit the ball hard in this series. Only a couple of times that they retired him on weak hit balls.
Conine pops it into shallow right. Ramirez in, Roberts out. Bipp makes the catch, and the runners hold.
I was going to say, if he tries to score on this, we're going to have a real story. No, but getting back to Jared Wright, yeah, he was an extra on the show. Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. There he is. He did a heck of a job on the show, too. I told him the other day, I said, keep checking your mailbox for that check. It's on the way.
Do you recall what role he played? Just a crowd scene, maybe.
He played a young married neighbor.
Very young. Charles Johnson. fouls it off. He has 3 singles tonight in 4 turns at bat. 2 of them drove home runs.
Well, the Marlins have 15 base hits in this ball game. They had 16 in the 3rd game of the series here.
The crowds at Jacobs Field are among the most knowledgeable, supportive, and loud in the major leagues. But a lot of the spirit has subsided here, with the Marlins leading 8-4 in the 9th. One and two.
Well, you know, talking about these crowds, Bob, and they've been great. They have been all year long. But those crowds at Pro Player Stadium, you walk into that parking lot and hear those bands and everybody rocking and rolling prior to the game, and they get it going once they get in there too. 67,000 plus for those 2 games in Florida.
Breaking ball got him. So Johnson goes down looking. But the Marlins tack on another one and lead it 8-4, and here comes Levon. Needing 4 to tie, the Indians will send up Roberts, Vizquel, and Ramirez against the amazing Levon Hernandez.
Bob, you know, we've talked a lot about Jared Wright and how great a pitcher he's going to be. I think you're looking at 2 guys in Jared Wright and Levon Hernandez, who one day will be opposing each other in an all-star game, starting against each other, because they both have great futures ahead of them, barring any injuries. I mean, we're looking at 2 of the future stars of this game.
Unless, of course, baseball realigns so that they're both in the same league.
They'd be on the same team, same league, same everything.
Well, I didn't mean to start that now.
No, it's over.
Okay.
First one to Bipp is high. He's walked twice and lined out twice. Alex Arias, the new 3rd baseman, in on the grass. There's a strike. The report from Jim Gray downstairs is that there is no further aggravation of the injury. He's just been having trouble with it. A bouncer down at Conine, covering is Hernandez. He gets it to him for the first out. Wait a minute. Did he pull him off the bag? Yes, he did. Ken Kaiser said he must have come across the bag and then caught it after he crossed. And Roberts is safe.
Well, he's saying he missed the bag, is what he's saying. And Jim Leland's coming out to find out why. He said he missed the bag.
There's not much of an argument from Hernandez. I mean, if he had tagged the bag, if he had hit the bag, I'm sure he would have been right at Kaiser. We'll take another look at it. There's the play. There's the toss. He's there in time. He's there in plenty of time. Well, it looked like he got it from that angle. It sure did.
That's the bag. He's on the bag.
He's on it.
Sometimes you don't know what to say.
That's good.
You know? Go figure.
That's a good thing to say.
Now Vizquel.
Boy, he looked like he hit the corner of the bag with no problem.
Ball 1. One more look with audio to supplement it.
You could hear him hit the bag, and then Bipp Roberts hitting the bag afterwards.
Yeah, those 2 sounds, boom, boom, right after each other, was first Hernandez touching the bag, and then Roberts following him. Now it's 2-0 to Vizquel. Make it 3-0. The official scoring on the last play, an error charged to Hernandez.
I don't think Kaiser can get an error, can he?
Not officially. First error charged to either team tonight. There's a strike. Rob Nen gets up. A line drive base hit. Roberts to third. Runners at the corners with nobody out. One more base runner, and the tying run comes to the plate.
Now the Indians, as they did so many times this year, showing that ability to come from behind. They've got a couple of runners aboard. Jim Leyland has seen enough. Here's that last pitch, and the base hit by Vizquel. That was a high fastball. High fastball. Vizquel right on it. It sends Roberts to third on what should have been a retired batter on that ball he hit to first. Hernandez leaving here. I tell you what, this guy did a great job. I'm really impressed by this kid. Wow.
If Nen does the job, Hernandez will win his second World Series game. Alex Fernandez among those congratulating Livan Hernandez. Jim Leyland wanted him to finish, but after 142 pitches, and Hernandez flashing that temper again, upset that he doesn't get the complete game. He leaves with 2 men on and nobody out on the ninth, and then comes on to face Ramirez.
Well, he may not have wanted to lead this game, Bob, but he's left a lasting impression on a lot of people who have watched this series. He really has.
A strike to Ramirez. Nen's last outing was in the ninth on Tuesday after the Marlins had scored 7 times to lead 14-7. He squandered more than half of it. It was 14-11 by the time he closed it out. He gets ahead of Ramirez 0-2.
Nen with the fastball in the 90s, high 90s.
Well, they said 102 in Florida last time. He reached 102. At least that's what they flashed on the scoreboard.
That was his high water mark, 102 miles per hour. He threw one at 101, then reached 102 in that series in Florida. Here at 97 and 98. Rob Nen, fastball mid to upper 90s. Not much movement. I mean, he's coming right at you. And it's most effective when he throws a curveball and the slider also in there. But you got to be ready for this guy.
His 0-2 pitch to Ramirez. Spins him away at 99.
Take a look at Manny Ramirez glaring out at Rob Nen.
Well, they've gotten him out by jamming him and keeping the fastball in, and they're trying to go inside again, and you see Ramirez doesn't like it.
At 98-mile-an-hour fastball, you don't have much time to move back out of the way. If you're diving in at 98 miles an hour, it's going to come and get you.
The one time the ball out over the plate to him, he almost killed their second baseman. Counsell, he hit that bullet past him, so they do not want to get the ball out there so he can extend.
Rob Nen and Charles Johnson. Johnson out there now. They're talking about what they want to do with Ramirez to make sure everything is right. I still think the way this guy throws, I mean, not to change anything. Go outside, go away. You throw an 80, I should say 95, 98, and even over 100 if the gun is right, that radar gun. I mean, what else are you going to do with this guy? You got to go with what got you here. Your best stuff, his best pitch is a fastball.
And when it's that fast, even when it's straight as a string, go ahead and try to catch up with it.
Oh, yeah, it's not that you can't back a guy off and come with a breaking ball, but your fastball's number one.
And a fastball fouled off. An apparent missed call by Ken Kaiser in the 8th put a Lou aboard and led to a run, which made it 7-4. Now it's 8-4. And here to open this inning, it certainly appeared that Hernandez had his foot on the bag, and Bip Roberts should have been out as the leadoff man. Instead, he reached. Vizquel followed with a single. And Ramirez hangs in against Nen. 2 on, nobody out. 8-4.
Well, and again, they're bang plays, but the play on Alou was a little ball hit back to Juden. He rather got to it slowly. Now here's the throw. The ball is there, and Tomei was on the bag. And here's that next play that we talked about just a moment ago. It appears that Hernandez was on the bag, but both runners were called safe.
Now it's 2-2 to Manny Ramirez. Wait a minute. They asked to check down with Ken Kaiser, and it looks as if Kaiser has punched him out. He barely moved. You know, we don't mean to get on Ken's case, but he barely gave an indication. And the only way you know for sure is that Ramirez turned and walked away.
Well, Ramirez obviously went around. It looked like he may have went around.
Yeah, that wasn't a bad call.
No, but the call by Kaiser, it was so nonchalant, nobody saw it. There's the check swing. Oh, there it is. That looks like he's going in his pocket for change. And he doesn't do that often either.
So that's the first out.
Wow.
We may be in the area of piling on now.
I may be in the area of a body slam.
The runner goes from first because they ignore him, and Vizquel pulls up at second. Not unimportant because it takes the double play off.
Right. And I always think that a guy should take second base in this situation. Takes away the force out, and it takes away the double play. A ball hit deep in the hole, Renteria wouldn't have a play at second base now. He'd have to go all the way across to first, so good move there.
Strike one, says Randy Marsh. Ken Kaiser, by the way, will have the plate Saturday night, Game 6.
That also tells you that the manager really must have thought he missed it, because managers do not often like to argue with the first base umpire when they're going to have the plate the next day. It has to be,
in the World Series. 1-2 now the count on David Justice, who's hitless in 4 trips.
Randy Marsh didn't need any help on that one. No appeal by the third base umpire. Marsh called that one himself. But that's been Kaiser's style. You know, ever since I've watched that guy, he's got that real slow and real short poke, even on a strike call. Sometimes it looks nonchalant.
One-two pitch spoiled as Justice gets a piece of it. The next several hitters are all home run threats. But somebody's got to reach for the tying run to come to the plate. Williams, Tomei, and Alomar would follow Justice if they prolong the inning. Through the box, base hit. It'll score 2 and make it 8-6. And more importantly, Matt Williams, who had 32 home runs during the season and hit one here last night, comes to the plate as the tying run.
Well, it's a fastball down and out over the plate, and Justice just rips it right back through the middle. Right out over the plate there, and here's Justice. Look how well balanced he is. He just has great balance as a hitter, and he just hits this ball back through the middle, and that plates 2 runs. But you talk about throwing just the fastball. Nen got ahead of Justice with a breaking ball after he threw a fastball, and he struck Ramirez out on a breaking ball. When you have to look for a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, it helps you throw some other pitches on occasion.
A ball to Williams, who was 1 for 2 with a couple of walks against Hernandez.
Well, they're on their feet again at Jacobs Field. Tying run at the plate.
Williams asked for time.
Well, that's what you live and die with a guy like Nen. Any of those guys who throw that hard, so awfully hard, have that great fastball. But again, it's your #1 pitch. You're not going to get beat on a breaking ball, but you've got to go to it once in a while.
Williams hits it slowly to short. They get 1 onto first, high and wild, and into the dugout. So Williams will be placed at second. Watch the takeout by Justice.
Well, good job by Renteria to make sure it won. Well, this is the first time that Counsell has stayed right there at the bag, and Justice knew where to find him. Now watch, Counsell stays there. He doesn't come across the bag. Now Justice knows where he is. You've got to make yourself a moving target there, and he doesn't do that. Now watch Counsell. He's not a moving target. Come to the ball. Get away from the runner, and you're okay. But he stayed right there, and Justice did his job. And the only importance of that is that it also takes the force out of the way. So now a ground ball again deep in the hole. Whoever catches it will have to go to first base.
Thome, who has hit 2 home runs in this series, comes to the plate with 2 out as the tying run of the 9th. This is the one he got to the opposite field off Hernandez in game 1. Then in game 3, he pulls one to right here off Al Leiter. He had a 9th inning showdown with Nen in game 1 as the tying run. Nen won that one. He lines it over Renteria. It's going to be 8-7. And the tying run stands at first.
And the go-ahead run comes to the plate.
Well, they've done it time and time again this year. I talked about it, the fact that this Indian ball club has come from behind many, many times. Again, Jim Thome with a big 2-out base hit. Here it is again. This is a fastball by Nen. Thome right on it. Lines it over Renteria's head into left center. They get another one. They're within one now at 8-7.
Well, I remember something that Eddie Matthews told me. He said, I can hit a speeding bullet if it's straight.
And look who's up there. Alomar, who's had such a huge postseason. And 4 RBIs tonight on a single and a 3-run homer. Nen's 1-0 pitch is a strike. No matter how this one turns out, if you're Jim Leyland, all of a sudden, you have to feel less than fully comfortable with Rob Nen.
Jim Leyland just telling Charles Johnson, make sure Nen stops. Make sure he stops when he goes to his stretch. Don't get called for a balk here.
The Indians are down to their last strike.
Well, the outfielders aren't playing as deep as I think they should be, because you cannot let a ball get between you and the fence. You can't let a line drive go to the wall because the tying run would score.
The 1-2. Swinging a high drive to right. Sheffield not quite to the track. And the Marlins will take a 3-2 lead home to Florida. How big were the extra runs? The single run in the 8th, the single run in the 9th, that the Marlins were able to tack on because Cleveland scores 3 times in the bottom of the inning and they fall 1 short. We name co-players of the game. Livan Hernandez, the winner tonight. His 2nd World Series win. He's 4-0 in the postseason. And Moises Alou, whose 3-run homer off Oral Hershiser gave the Marlins the lead.
But I think he really showed a lot of heart here, being Livan Hernandez, because after the 3rd inning, he looked like he was a beaten pitcher, and he bounced back, and he pitched great all the way to the 9th inning, where the call on the leadoff hitter got him in trouble, and he struggled after that. But, I mean, this kid is going to be a great pitcher.
We go now to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Bob, with Moises Alou. Moises got a little too close for comfort there in the 9th, didn't it?
Yeah, but I had faith in the Lord, and I have faith in Rob that he was going to get the job done.
How about your big 3-run shot, put you at 5-4 in the 6th inning?
That was pretty big. You know, they kept throwing me a lot of sliders. I kept chasing them. Our bench coach, Jerry Manuel, told me, you know, become a hitter. You just being a swinger. You know, he's being a pitcher. So just go out there and be a hitter. Trust yourself. And that's what I did. You know, I had a good at-bat. I saw the pitch is good. And a couple of times before I didn't. So I missed the first pitch. He hung me a slider the first pitch. and then I got into 2-1, and he hung me another slider, and I took advantage.
Congratulations, Mose.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's send her back upstairs now to Bob Costas.
So for the second time in this series, Livan Hernandez defeats Oral Hershiser. Now the Indians have to hope that they get the same result in the matchup that's reprised from game 2. They've got to hope that Chad O'Jay can beat Kevin Brown again in the 6th game and force a 7th and deciding game on Sunday. But for tonight, our final score, the Marlins 8 and the Indians 7. Game 6 covered Saturday, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific from Pro Player Stadium. Tonight, after your late local news, The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, Good Show, Robin Williams, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and beach volleyball stars Karch Karai and Kent Steffes. For those of you who want to continue with baseball coverage, you can join Keith Olbermann and Hannah Storm for the World Series postgame show, available immediately following this telecast on CNBC. For Joe Morgan, Bob Uecker, Jim Gray, Hannah Storm, and Keith Olbermann, Elliot Cal, Jeff Sleed, and Tom McDermott in the booth, and everybody in the truck, I'm Bob Costas. Good night from Cleveland.
The NFL and the Super Bowl, the Breeders' Cup, the PGA Tour, the NBA and the NBA Finals, Notre Dame football, Wimbledon, the U.S. Open, and the 2000, 2002, 2004, 2006, and 2008 Olympic Games. All on America's sports leader, NBC.